I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VIN and SORI. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers real exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 120. Alrighty then. We're interrupting that commercial because you guys already saw the commercial. Sorry, guys. As you know, we have technical difficulties as always, and also child difficulties. So, anyway. All right, guys, here we go. As you can see up there, it's the Alliance Leader stream. Now, you guys know, you've seen the commercial. We've got alliances. $1 gets you in, and then you have Alliance Leaders. They're responsible for organizing all that jazz, making sure everybody's songs get requested and played, all that junk. Good to go. Type 20. Great, people can hear an error. Let me try to mute the Mac Pro mic. Hold on. Let me know if you're still hearing the echo. Hopefully you guys are not. Because I am using echo cancellation.
It is metal time, Ben.
No
well,
idea.
I mean, who knows what type of
there you go.
songs
Sounds perfect. Okay,
they've
so
chosen
it's
for
that.
us. Oh, look, it blurs out a little bit.
The mic. What?
Okay, good. We figured that one out. All right, can you pull up the Alliance stream thing?
All right, here we go, guys.
We've got some
we need a live stream thing
intros.
on Trello.
Start the introduction first.
Got it.
All right. Two very kind villagers, Middle Earth and SGS, took it upon themselves to purchase a stream for the Alliance leaders to DJ a warm thank you to both of you for your generosity.
The 5 Alliance leaders are Kelendros, Archero, Negative Vibes, Neil, and Misery Biz. Each of us have submitted one song for this stream with a twist. We have not revealed which leader picked each song. You will have to see if you can match the songs to the right leader. You've heard multiple picks from each of us before. Do you think you know our taste well enough to guess? That's going to be fun. Go ahead.
Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, and before you overthink the game too much, which was I was just doing, we assure you that these are all songs we genuinely enjoy and are within the genres of music we listen to. We did not pull any shenanigans of trying to pick something very unusual for us in order to trick you. All right?
All right.
So
well,
song number one is...
what is this as a stream key?
Well, it's... Maybe they'll say.
Okay, so Archero, if you guys see the bottom left, here's the stream key right here. Okay, so this is what Archero says about the stream key. Like right out the gate, it looks to me like some Quranic type thing. But anyway, let me read it. Ulver is one of the bands that shifts styles and genre from album to album. You've already heard a couple tracks from both their oldest and newest releases representing folk-centric black metal and synthwave respectively, but here's one from their first transition out of black metal and into breakbeat electronica. In 1998, they released a musical project that set music to the epic poem from Willem Blake, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, itself a partial commentary on John Milton's Paradise Lost. This track is one of my favorites from the album, titled A Memorable Fancy, plates 12 and 13, and features guest vocals in the latter half by Ishan from Emperor. I also included the plates from Blake's original manuscript in lieu of the lyrics.
Oh, so that's what it wasn't
right,
supposed to be a stream key, I guess. That's what that is.
That's the actual lyrics from the actual song. Okay. So there's that. Okay. So I guess I'll pull that out when that song. But then that tells me which one that Neil picked, right?
Well, I mean, just by what they just read, I was already leaning toward Neil.
Yeah, like. Thanks, Neil. I mean,
wait, but
that just gave me one guess.
Well,
so
no, because Archero also
right
said that's only for the first reaction.
What's only for the first reaction?
This, it's not a stream key.
Yeah, but that's okay because again, like I said, that eliminates one of the situations. Hot dogs are now hamburgers. I don't know what that means, but I probably agree. All right, guys, here we go. Song numero uno. Song numero uno by I was going to say Archero. What's the first song? Is it
this
Over?
One. Yeah.
A Memorable Fancy, plates 12 through 13. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is Neil's song.
That's exactly because of what we read. That's what made me think it was Neil. But
that was Neil, right?
That was my guess. But we haven't heard the song yet.
All right, so I'm going to guess that this is Neil's selection. Song number 1. The name of the band is Over. And the name of the song is A Memorable Fancy, plates 12 and 13. Let's do this shit. too. What?
This could be a Archero too.
Prophets I and Ezekiel died with me, and I asked them how they dared surround me to a certain God spoke to them. And whether they did not think at the time that they would be misunderstood, and so be the cause of imposition. This I answered, I saw no God, nor heard any infinite organical perception, but my senses discovered the infinite in everything. And as I was then persuaded and remained confirmed that the voice of honest indignation is the voice of God, I cared not for consequences but wrote.
There's a firm persuasion that a thing is so, make it so.
Does, and in ages of imagination this firm persuasion removes mountains, but many are not capable of a firm persuasion of anything. Then Ezekiel said, the philosophy of the East taught the first principles of human perception. Some nations held one principle for the origin and some another. We of Israel taught that the poetic genius was the first principle and all the others merely derivative, which was the cause of our despising the priests and philosophers of other countries and prophesying that all gods would at last be proved to originate in ours, to be tributary to the poetic genius. It was this that our great poet King David desired so fervently, and wrote so pathetically, saying by this, He conquers enemies and governs kingdoms, and we so loved our God that we cursed in his name all the deities of surrounding nations and asserted that they had rebelled. From these opinions the vulgar came to think that all nations would at last be subject to the Jews.
That got a little tricky. I'm not so sure that was Neil. I kind of thought Archero for a little bit there that had picked this one, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because then it had more changes to it, so I'm not clear on who it is yet.
What happened to my screenshot file? Did you do something with it?
No.
I created a folder where all the screenshots are supposed to go to. Where'd they go?
I don't know. I mean,
okay, that's another. Okay, go ahead.
It might be on Selah's side.
Just go ahead. Talk to the people.
So okay, the prophets Isaiah and Ezekiel dined with
I gotta say, like right out the gate, like whoever did this, like I did not like this song at all. Like I didn't. Maybe if I looked at it again, I was scared for like a song. This was more like spoken word, with a little like soundtrack behind it. But I can't, it's like when you think you're picking up a Pepsi and then you drink water and you spit out the water. It's like, it's not because water's bad. It's because
you expected
you were expecting Pepsi. So I was expecting some Pepsi metal. And then I just didn't get, I'm not smart enough to like songs like this yet. Let me say it that way. Like I'm not smart enough. I mean this, like I'm not sophisticated enough to like songs like this yet. Say it that way.
I mean, okay, so
lyrically it was incredible.
When the song first started, I was like, oh, because it had like this chill sort of vibe to it that was kind of like going somewhere. And I pretty much vibed with it through most of it, but then there was a chunk of it where I was like, ugh, I don't like this part. It was like toward the end, but still part of the middle. But around it was good. Vocally, I had a hard time hearing what he was saying.
That's why I was fighting to get the lyrics up there. The computer was being a little bit chippy, so I couldn't get the lyrics up there.
Yeah. So, and I always feel like I'm in this dilemma when a song is going on, when it's like in a reaction where it's like, do I vibe with the music or do I dig down into the lyrics? So the decision was kind of made for me. So I kind of just was like looking at the feeling of the music, and then kind of went into the lyrics a little bit, like when he was talking about like where he was basically confronting the prophets and being like, how do you think that you have basically the audacity to think that you can hear from God? I saw a little bit of that. So I don't have a full picture of what the whole lyrics are about. Like, it seems like this guy met with the prophets. Like maybe he had some kind of a vision or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, lyrically, so he dines, he's got a dinner with Isaiah and Ezekiel, which were the prophets of the exile. So the Babylon, God continuously told the Israelites, like, if you follow the law and you only worship God, things will go well with you. If you don't follow the law and worship God, then He will send another nation in there with a stern face who does not show compassion for the young or deference to the elderly. Deuteronomy 28. So, the Israelites, they fail, they sin, so God says, cool, I'm going to send the Babylonians. The Babylonians are going to go fuck you guys up for about 70 years. So the prophets that were announcing the specific Babylonian captivity and then giving context around the Babylonian captivity so that the Israelites interpreted the events from a theological lens instead of looking at it from a sociological lens, which is, look, this is a story of history. Nations fight each other. One wins, one loses. That's the way it goes. Isaiah and Ezekiel's specific job was to provide a theological context and say, no, the reason that the Babylonians were able to overcome you is because you were sinning against God and your leadership. You were not good to the poor. You didn't take care of the poor and needy. Ezekiel was the one that said, this was the sin of your sister Sodom. Mm-hmm. The sin of the folks in Sodom was that they were fat, they had too much ease, and they didn't care for the poor, the needy. And then he says, and they committed an abomination before me. And he doesn't specifically say what the abomination is, which is very fascinating to me. Ezekiel mentions them being overfed, very specific. He mentions the attitude, they were haughty. he mentions the specific people that they violated. They didn't care for the poor and needy. But when it comes to the homosexuality stuff, God doesn't get specific about homosexuality. All he says is they committed an abomination before me. And what has the Christian church done? Sodom and Gomorrah is about homosexuality, which is like literally the last thing that God talked about when he's recounting the issue. He talks about it in Amos, and he also talks about it in Isaiah and Ezekiel, and never is homosexuality mentioned in any of those texts.
But most everybody thinks Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for homosexuality.
Right.
Well, I think that's because, historically speaking, the Christian church has not, if it had any struggles with homosexuality, as in like people felt that way, it wasn't a safe environment for you to say that. So basically the church didn't have that problem, I guess you could say. And so I think that it's easier for people to point the finger at, oh, well, it's the homosexuality instead of real, because greed and overeating and not caring about the poor, like that's a common problem.
That's so interesting considering the conversation we had yesterday.
I wasn't going to say it.
The overfed person is not a poor person taking from the state. The overfed person is a rich capitalist who takes all the food for himself and doesn't care about the poor and the needy. Even when Ezekiel goes after it, he punches up. He never punches down. Go ahead. I
just think that because we're all sinners and everybody has problems, that everybody can be part of the problem, whether or not you're poor or you're rich. Everybody has a responsibility to take care of other people around them. And so I think it's easily overlooked that poor people can participate in helping. But everybody
when are the rich ever called in Scripture to help people?
What do you mean?
When are the poor specifically called out for not helping?
Well, what are we talking about? Poor people that don't have anything?
Well, you know when it says like they neglected the poor.
People.
Remember when it said they neglected the poor and the needy? Is there anything in the Bible where it says the poor and the needy
Most Americans today would be considered very rich, correct?
I'm just saying.
I don't want to go back into that one with you, seriously.
We're not going into anything. I'm just saying that the poor are never obligated biblically to care for people. They never get called. They never get called out for not helping.
What you're talking about is not. We're talking about a poor person that doesn't have anything. Okay, then they can't do anything. But if you have stuff to give, you have abilities to be able to do that. Then you should be able to take it.
They weren't naked.
American poor people are the richest in the world, pretty much.
Okay, so the context of Isaiah and Ezekiel is they sinned. They committed some sort of sin. Now the Babylonians are coming to screw them up. So that's what Isaiah and Ezekiel were specifically. It was just very interesting to me because those are the two biggest prophets of the exile. So it's very interesting to me that he selected Ezekiel and Isaiah to have this conversation with. That's massive for me.
Yeah, one of the interesting things too is that the prophets were given to the people to give them a message from God, to speak to them from God, and the Bible says that God speaks in many ways and in many parts, because there was a time where he spoke through the prophets, and then after the time of the prophets came the time of Jesus. And that's like the best explanation of God, because Jesus is the exact imprint of God himself. So we had the prophets before, and that was like one of the many ways that God uses to speak, because not everybody learns the same way, and God understands that because he created us all. So he brings a lot of different ways and different examples for us to be able to learn from. So that was the two major examples at that time was those two homies.
I asked them how they dared so roundly to assert that God spoke to them.
Right, that was the part.
And whether they did not think at the time that they would be misunderstood and so be the cause of imposition. That's a crazy line. Like, what is the psychology of these people that are writing these documents? That's so crazy. And it is kind of crazy to say like the eternal creator of the universe gave you a direct form of communication. When I have like most of my friends in this channel are unbelievers. When unbelievers come to me like, yo, that shit is crazy, bro. A lot of Christians get defensive, but I mean the shit we're saying is kind of crazy. Like there's been billions of people on the planet, and every time they've died, they stay dead. But we're saying no, we have the exception, and I believe that 100%. I believe that more than I believe that any of you exist. But it is a crazy thing, especially like if you were raised in Christianity. It's like, oh, God has prophets. He speaks to prophets. He talks to people. Blah blah blah. You're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, sure. And then you just kind of like fall into it. Then you run into somebody that doesn't share that view, and they're looking at you like you're from the planet Xenon or something like that, because, you know, this shit sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy that God would speak to a human. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, and then the entire thing that you would be that human that God spoke to, and that all of us need to listen to you forever.
Oh.
Like, that's what he's saying. And but beside that, even Christians, like modern Christians, think that's crazy. If you were to go into like a Presbyterian church and say, God gave me a message, they would be just as skeptical about you as I mean, shit, they would be more skeptical of you than the atheists. So, like, I like that thing of like questioning the Bible and questioning like religion by setting up these two characters who contributed so much to the Bible. That's crazy. Isaiah answered, I saw no God, nor heard any, in a finite organical perception, but my senses discovered the infinite in everything. And as I was then persuaded and remained confirmed that the voice of honest indignation is the voice of God, I cared not for consequences, but wrote. SubhanAllah. So he's saying that he ended up speaking to God, but it wasn't through his sense perception. It wasn't through the five senses. Because it said, I saw no God, nor heard any, in a finite organical perception. Okay, so he's talking about the five senses that he has.
And then he talks about my senses discover the infinite in everything.
Yeah,
it's
so
like it's like he's talking about like another set of senses that is not part of the
Sadat,
five.
Correct. And then Kalendros says it, that you specifically would be chosen to hear the voice of God or of some all-powerful being does sound a little crazy, to be sure. It sounds mega crazy. And anytime we see somebody in the street that's walking around saying that shit, we automatically categorize them. It's crazy. Well, I mean, Isaiah was walking around naked and shit.
That was Isaiah?
Yeah. So it's like the people that reject that. That's one of the reasons I actually believe the Bible, is because the prophets were never popular. People always hated them, and people always thought that they were crazy. So that's one of the things that makes me believe the Bible's
stuff
real.
They were expected to do. I mean, we're going to get into it a little further down.
Correct. But I did think that line was crazy. He said it seems that he was in some sort of meditative state where he was able to tap into that dimension and interfacing with the beings in that dimension. But he had another set of senses wherein he was able to ascertain what they were trying to communicate. Mm-hmm. And that is an extremely sophisticated way of looking at Revelation, which most Christians do not think about. Most Christians, when they think about inspiration, they think the guy sat down and then, like, you know, he got possessed by the Holy Spirit, and then he just starts automatic writing, and then boom, now you got the book of Isaiah. Holy shit. That's not how I believe inspiration works. I think that Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Moses, all those people, you definitely see it with Moses. He had a lot of time of solitude. He had about 40 years. A lot of these guys had a lot of solitude, and we don't really know what the actual historical, like, direct circumstance is in which these persons received this revelation. We don't know. All it says is God said XYZ to me, but we don't know what that person was doing in that moment to get that revelation. So to me, what he's saying here is totally in play. It's very possible to me, actually it's more likely than not, that Isaiah had so devoted, Ezekiel had so devoted themselves to the spiritual world, or the dimension 4 through infinite, which is what I'm calling it right now.
I like that.
That they were able to tap in to that world without DMT. I think DMT is sort of like a shortcut to getting there. I saw this on Rogan, where there are some Buddhist monks who, however, they did a brain scan with them, and exactly what's happening to the brain on DMT is exactly what's happening to these masters when they're meditating. And so, obviously, there's a scientific way to speak to this shit. He replied.
The other thing, too, is that the different prophets, like, I also used to think that it was basically like, and they were just like writing as like inspiration was just coming on them, and they were like like snapped out of it and then they read it themselves. But you actually see, when you are reading the different books, you'll actually see that their personality is intertwined into it. So that kind of gives you an indicator that they were present in the process, and that it was a process that God was doing with them.
Then I asked, does a firm persuasion that a thing is so make it so? That's so brilliant. That's a lesson that our postmodern friends desperately need to learn.
Yes, I agree.
Just because you are convinced of something doesn't make it so.
Mm-hmm. In fact, when you're convinced of something, that's when you have to say, wait, is this actually true? Because once we've convinced ourselves of something, it's very, very difficult for our brains to see any inconsistencies outside of it because we have a belief in it.
Yeah, like I'm not going to say that.
But that's one of the things that's been pretty
true.
unique about the Christian church, is that we've had like a lot of councils and different stuff over the years because we have questioned within ourselves our belief system.
But yeah, that's the ultimate question. Like, if being persuaded doesn't make something true, what is truth then? Because when he says make it so, what he really means is make it true. And so it's like, that's the ultimate question. What is truth? And like, relative to all of our current problems right now in the United States of America, that's what's going on right now. What's happening is, okay, so first of all, truth is that which corresponds to reality. The problem is, what happens when you and the person you're talking to are not operating in the same reality? That is the sum total of what's going on in our country right now. You got groups of people that are trying to tell us that when we turned on our TV on a certain date and we saw a bunch of people running around doing a bunch of crazy shit, we're supposed to believe that there was nothing wrong with that and that we didn't really see that. On the other hand, you got another group of people that are completely overturning institutions that happened right from the beginning of the human family and really telling us like that what we see is not really what we see. Now, you can read between the lines about what I'm trying to say. The reason I'm being vague is not because I care about whatever. It's because I think what we're talking about is very important, and people have been so brainwashed that their minds automatically shut down when they run into somebody that doesn't, go along with their orthodoxy. But again, what is truth is the ultimate question. And if honestly, if we could all have those discussions and agree on what truth is, all of our issues would be done tomorrow. Well,
Not that if we could agree on truth, but agree on the actual truth. Because there's a lot of people that agree on a truth, but they believe it's a truth. But you're saying we have to believe in that.
What you believe to be the truth and actual truth are not the same thing.
Right.
That's why the guy asked that question. Just because you're persuaded doesn't make it so.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And you got a lot of people now saying, hey, because I'm persuaded that I'm XYZ, I'm XYZ. It's like, just because you're persuaded that you're that doesn't mean you're actually that. But if there is no reality outside of our own perceptions and we are the determiners of what ultimate reality is, then we can do whatever we want. You can it's kind of like the dude in Avengers where he can alter reality. Doctor Strange, you can just alter reality and boom, I know what you're seeing in front of you looks like X. It's really Y. Literally. Read between the lines. He replied, all poets that it does, and in ages of imagination, this firm persuasion removed mountains, but many are not capable of a firm persuasion of anything. So what he's saying there, to me, it looks like he's saying, listen, whether or not it's actually objectively true, my absolute commitment to this truth claim has moved mountains. And people who are not persuaded by what they believe or claim to believe don't do anything. So the response is, whether or not the thing is actually true is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is look at the result. Right? So you've got this utilitarian understanding of religion where Ezekiel's saying, it doesn't matter if what I'm saying is ultimately true because I was able to affect something in the world that I wanted to happen. So I think that's a crazy, crazy psychology.
What? I think I missed that. What did you say?
Well, what he's saying here is, does a firm persuasion that a thing is so make it so? He
Yeah,
replies,
I got that.
All poets said it does. And in ages of imagination, this firm persuasion removed mountains. But many are not capable of a firm persuasion of anything. So he's being utilitarian about
He's saying when
what he's
people
saying.
really believe something, they can move mountains because of it.
It's
Yeah.
happened. Right.
Yeah.
So he's saying the truth value of what I'm saying doesn't really matter as long as I can affect the change that I want to affect.
Oh, wow,
So if that story gets people to remove a certain mountain I want removed, then cool, let's go with it. Think. Like, that's our political milieu right now. Nobody cares about the truth. All people care about is results and making sure that their group comes up and has, all power. Then Ezekiel said, the philosophy of the East taught the first principles of human perception. Some nations had one principle for the origin and some another. We of Israel taught that the poetic genius, as you now call it, was the first principle. I'm assuming that's Yahweh. And all others merely derivative, which I believe. I believe that Yahweh is the head of the divine council, but there are other gods, Thor, Loki, blah, blah, blah. All those guys, I believe that they're real. I believe that they're actually in play in the fourth and infinite dimensions. They just report to Yahweh, though. We continue. Which was the cause of our despising the priests and philosophers of other countries and prophesying that all gods would at last be proved to originate in ours and be the tributaries of the poetic genius. Woo! It was this that our great poet King David desired to fervently invoke so pathetically, saying, by this he conquers enemies and governs kingdoms, and so loved our God that we cursed in his name all deities surrounding nations, asserted that they had rebelled. From these opinion, the vulgar came to think that all nations would at last be subject to the Jews. So during the intertestamental period, that was essentially the theology, that the Messiah was going to come and subjugate all the Gentiles to Jewish rule specifically. It was a very, very racialized kingdom, which is why when Jesus showed up saying, carry the pack of the Roman soldier, when you see Jesus healing the Roman soldier, etc., healing this Roman soldier's servant, you see why the crowd was able to turn on Jesus so quickly.
Yeah.
Because the kingdom that he was preaching was a multiracial kingdom where nobody was ruling over anybody. And the only people that survived were the meek. The meek inherit the earth.
I was going to say the meek.
So this idea, because he's right, like, it can be true that the other gods are rebels without us putting ourselves above other people. Like, if you say 2 + 2 is 5, I'll say you're wrong. That doesn't mean I'm a better human than you. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that in this particular aspect of reality, I'm more aligned with reality than you. That's literally all it means. But what happened with the Jewish people was they took it to the next level and said, aha, God is going to square all accounts, which means that we're going to rule the world and make these Gentiles suffer the way that they're making us suffer. Not realizing that Antiochus Epiphanes and the rest of those Gentiles were hanging around in that place because God specifically stated that if they were unfaithful, he was going to do that. So instead of taking that information and repenting, they took the information and says, one of these days we're going to get you guys. It's the same thing that happened when I was talking to the black Israelites. They're hurt. And I understand. I just had a conversation with somebody like an hour and a half ago or something like that. George Floyd came up. I'm like, this dude keeps bringing up the dead body of this guy because he knows that his audience loves that shit, because our country has a history of watching black men being murdered. I mean, we used to go to lynchings with picnic baskets and all this. My point is very simple. Is that when I was talking to the black Israelites, those dudes had the same idea. Jesus is going to show up. He's going to fuck up all these white people, and then we're going to be able to do to them what they did to us. I'm like, listen, man, I get it. Very, very human emotion. But this is one of the reasons that I believe that the Christian faith is the truth, because it goes against every single impulse of my nature. It just does. That's why I was talking to one of my Muslim friends. He's like, yo, convert. I said, listen, bro, you don't want me to convert. Because if I converted to Islam, I'd be on the first plane to fucking Israel right now. Because in Islam, jihad is prescribed for you. Right? And so you get to square those issues, especially on a national level in an Islamic system. You can't do that and be faithful to Christ. So I'm talking to these black Israelites, and I'm like, listen, I get it. I understand. But that's one of the reasons I know your theology is off, because there's nothing supernatural about hating people who are oppressing you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
There's nothing supernatural about wanting to kill them folks. Like, and that's the reason I don't watch certain videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because. So like, it's very interesting, like how he talks about how the Jewish people kind of like missed the point of the message and made it a racialized message.
Mm-hmm.
And to see I think it was 2020 when I had the debate with those guys, Black Israelites, to see that thousands of years later, the same mentality is there.
Yeah.
Tells you something about human nature, but it also tells you about how challenging the Bible is for someone who's like really trying to follow it.
Is that part of the reason why the Palestinians are still being persecuted?
Why? Well, they're being persecuted largely because the United States is giving unilateral support to an
Which is coming from the
apartheid
same mindset, right?
nation.
Wait, I'm talking about maybe I'm the Gaza Strip. Maybe I'm missing?
Yeah. What about it? Yep.
Isn't that the same mentality that that they have a sort of superiority?
Who, the
to
Israelis?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they
So
believe
it's still going on right now.
Yeah, it's still going on. Right. They believe that God gave them the land, and that the Muslims are not worshiping the real God. Although, actually, the Islamic God and Jewish God are pretty much the same. The modern Judaism doesn't have a Son of God, doesn't have a crucifixion, doesn't have a resurrection, doesn't have a Trinity.
Wow.
So the Islamic God and the Jewish God are much closer to each other than the Islamic God and the Christian God. But yeah, no, it's going the same. There's a lot of these Jewish people believe the land belongs to them. They believe it's theirs, and they have a divine right to do it. And this is the attitude. The attitude is, hey, we're God's people. You guys are pagans. Forget about it. One of my favorite passages.
It's so crazy because go ahead. It literally starts out saying, like, in Genesis 1, it says that we're all made in the image and likeness of God. So, like, all of us have value just on that. The minute you're born, the second you're created, like, you have value because you're made in God's likeness. And it's crazy that, like, that just gets overlooked. And then it's about the land. Like, how significant is land in light of a human being? Like, what?
I understand, but a lot of their national and personal identity is wrapped up in the land.
Right, because it's not wrapped up in being made in the image and likeness of God.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. They're missing. It's right there, right at chapter 1.
Yeah, well, I agree. That's why, when Aaron Ra was talking to me, he's like, why didn't he give us a scientific method? I'm like, bro, let's figure out Genesis.
Yeah.
Let's figure out Genesis 1:26 first, and
Yeah,
that's why God. That's why
exactly.
God didn't give us a scientific method in
Exactly.
Genesis 1. Good night.
Exactly.
This passage in the Bible is really, really pertinent to the lyrics of this song. So check this out. I've always said, I believe that God is the ultimate God with a capital G. Loki, Thor, all those guys are in play. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the many biblical reasons why. Here's Psalm chapter 82 in the ESV. God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, small g, he holds judgment. Now he's talking to these gods. He says, how long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked?
This is Psalm 2?
It's Psalm 82. He's saying the gods, small g gods, are creating religions that are favoring the wicked. Mm-hmm. Okay? Give justice to the weak and fatherless, maintain the right of the afflicted and destitute, rescue the weak and the needy, and deliver them from the hand of the wicked. That is the job of the gods. So, like, for example, I was listening to this, I think it was Michael B. Jordan, when he was talking about when they would go to pagan nations. And the pagan nations were worshiping these spirits. And they would pray to these spirits, and the spirits used to take care of them. And they would pray to these spirits, and, their kid was starving or whatever, just dying. And this being manifests, touches the kid's healed, and he goes back. The entire time he's praying to the gods of his fathers or whatever. B. Jordan shows up and says, yeah, we don't need to invalidate that. He said, that's right, that's what happened. God sent those angels, those gods, to protect those people and to take care of them until we showed up so we could introduce them to the true God. We don't need to invalidate those obvious experiences.
Yeah.
These people are not modernists. They're just telling you what happened. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was brilliant. Mm-hmm. That was brilliant. Like, because that's what I believe. There are gods over various nations, and their job is when people call out, they're supposed to help out and then point people to Yahweh. But what these gods did was they took all the worship for themselves, and channeled the worship to themselves and not Yahweh. They have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk about in the darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. Watch this. I said, you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, like men, you shall die and fall like any prince. Then it says, arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit the nations. Not the Jews, not the blacks. Yahweh inherits the nations in the person of Jesus Christ. And to be honest with you, he's the only person that deserves the nations.
Yeah.
You can be mad all you want as a black Israelite. I'm sorry, it was Africans that sold your and I brothers to the Spaniards and the Arabs and all the rest of it. So if you can't put slavery only on white people. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a human being problem. That's the issue. All right. This is a deep song. There's so much more I could say, but we'll be here forever. The lyrics kind of saved it for me here, so I'm gonna give this a good solid 6.
Oh boy. Okay. This one is probably like a 7.6 for me. Yeah, 7.6 for me. I liked the vibe of it. I do feel a little bit bad for giving this one a 7.6, only because I love spoken word. And I think that if I had a chance to listen to it a couple more times, I think that it would just keep increasing in my I think my affections would increase for it. But as it stands right now, it's a 7.6.
Okay, now we have to guess who it was. I still say it was Neil.
You still say Neil?
I still say Neil.
Jeez. I don't know. Because it might have... Okay, do you guys want us to create a list and tell you at the end who did what song? Or do you want us to tell you after each song what we think?
You don't have to commit to a guess just yet until you've heard all the picks. Ah, okay, so
right, and then we'll confirm. Or something.
Okay. All right, so she's gonna get a piece. We had to confer. She's gonna get a piece of paper. We're serious about this shit. We are gonna figure it out. Okay, so we're gonna have it at the end, and we're gonna have a conversation about it. Right now, we're gonna go to commercial. We shall return, you losers. Song number 2 coming up. It's the Alliance stream. Shout out to all of our Alliance leaders. Leetaz.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the Alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VIN and SORI. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. By the way, guys, give us some feedback on video quality, that type of thing. Trying something a little bit new. If this works, we can use that as a tax write-off. All the money we paid on the phone.
That's right.
This is an iPhone. We are shooting this. Mashallah tabaraka. Hey, come here, you. Come here, you. Thank you so much. You did a great job.
It's on the candle by the bathroom.
Have a kiss?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I say hi to the people?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, look right there into mommy's phone.
Hi,
Say
people.
hi, people.
Hi, people.
They're saying hi. Okay, give me one more. I love you. You're such a good boy. Mashallah.
Okay, go ahead now.
All right. All right. Shout out to the big homie Ben Bear. Rest in peace to my guy, WWF guy that died way too soon. Damn. It just sucks, man. It just really does. Do me a favor and get me that charger.
The phone?
Yeah.
Off this?
Yeah, where was it at? I just need to get
It was
it.
at 20.
I just need to get this guy awake. All right, guys. All right, now if you guys don't know, as we said, there are alliance leaders. We talked about it. $1, you jump on, all that jazz. They take care of you. They make sure your songs get reviewed. But what about them? Nobody cares for the lowly alliance leader. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've got some stuff in the works that I'm planning on for alliance leaders. I gotta tell you guys. Then this is for every alliance leader that's ever been an alliance leader. Number one, thank you guys so much. We'd have never been anywhere without you guys, honestly.
sure.
And number two, anybody who's ever been an alliance leader, I need a list. Maybe Archero, you can get that to me. Whether they're in the village or not, get me that list of folks because we genuinely need to do something for each and every one of those folks. I'm very glad we're able to do something for the folks that are here. So that's good. Now, our job, and I also apologize for not being as grateful and expressing my gratefulness as much as I should for you guys. I want to take accountability for that. My bad. I was wrong. Inshallah, I will do better for you guys. Now, what we're doing here is the five alliance members, leaders, have been able to choose some songs, and our job is to guess who chose what. So at the end of this stream, we're going to come with our 5 and her 5, and then we're going to see who's, or do you want it to be unanimous? It would be one list.
That's what I figured we would confer and.
Okay, all right, good. So I don't want to compete with you.
I feel like that this is Team VIN and SORI and Team Alliance Leaders because I feel like you guys maybe want us to make some mistakes.
Yes. Oh, Diamond, Sage, Silver, and Culpy. Yes.
Right.
Especially Culpy.
Yeah.
I gotta get to Culpy.
All right,
guys.
So up next,
Revo.
You want to bring up
man,
Trello?
we can't forget Revo.
You want to bring up
He's a man.
Email us the list.
He's a man in himself.
Email us the list, Archer.
All right. What you want? What you looking for, Trello? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you are bringing it up?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up.
Okay. Yeah. So up next.
What is it? Paid
It's
reviews?
going to be Alliance.
Okay.
And then we'll scroll over. Right here.
Uh-huh.
The White Ward.
Surfaces and depths.
Okay, so the Alliance leader who picked this said, White Ward are a progressive black metal band from Ukraine, which I've been enjoying for a few years now. The album this track is from is my starting point. Can you take the blue off that? With the band. You've heard one song from this band before, but this track features a guest vocalist, a lady by the name of Renata
Kazan.
And you're going to see a different side of the band sound. The track works as a chilled palate cleanse to break up the intensity of our other songs on this album. It's a song I revisit a lot.
Don't change that. Interesting. So who you got just based on that little thing.
I'll tell
'Cause this
you
was a
again.
quote.
When I heard it, I thought again of Neil,
Shit.
black
They can't
metal
all be
band from
Neil.
Ukraine. Yeah, but I don't think that first one was.
I think the first one was actually. Okay, guys, here we go. If we're muting the thing, it's because we have to confirm.
Right.
All right.
Do we win a prize if we get everybody?
Yeah, I
correct?
know. What do we win? What about us?
Me, him. Okay. All right. Let's check it out. You got your lyrics right there and everything.
Oh, we got a
so
pretty
we are-
serious echo
we are
according,
good.
according to Middle. Damn
Yeah.
it, man.
And middle is.
On that computer. Middle, can you guys win a year's supply of ham?
I'm not gonna lie, Artero. That would actually make me really
That
happy.
shit, like, it sounds good, but like,
Babe,
don't
I
know.
feel like we've entered the
I've been
throne
li-
room of heaven.
I've
This
been
is too
listening
much.
to too much Islamic stuff. I'm not really good on pork products right now.
Oh, really?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shit is just like, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, it's kind of fucking gross. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like rump roast.
Turn that brightness down. Look
Rump
at-
roast. Like, you're literally eating
I
ass.
know. I'm like, why did they put that on the thing? They should have called it something else. When I bring home the meat and the kids are like, so what is that? Where'd it come from? I'm like, I don't want to talk to you about which part of the pig or
Yeah,
whatever
it's
this
just-
came from.
it's a disgusting
It is
situation.
gross.
Shout out to all the
Vegetarians
Muslim
for
meat.
everyone.
All right, guys, here we go. The longest intro of a song of all time, subhanAllah. All right, here we go. Did you move the thing
What thing? Oh, probably when I.
too high? All right, guys, here we go. Song number 2. You're killing me with that.
Yeah, I
light.
don't like all that brightness on my face.
Song number 2,
Shiny.
White Ward, Surfaces and Depths. Let's do it. 1080p even. You know, like Blind.
The sins of fathers burden us. We come from water, then go to dust. And when we die, the legacy burdens those ones willing to see stars. Do we deserve this attitude that burns us whole? Cry. Do we observe our sanity's tremendous fall?
Got a saxophone in it. Saxophone in it. Got Artero on it.
I already had it.
Sexy too. did not want that song to end.
I really liked that one.
Damn it. All right, so you got who your suspect is on that shit?
This is who I think it is.
Wait, that's song 3. We're on song 2 right now.
No, we're on song 3.
What?
What?
The song we just finished? The song we just finished is song 2.
Oh. Oops.
What you want?
Oh, yeah. I had put the...
Yeah, because I was pretty
My
sure.
bad. It's like this. Sorry.
Okay.
Who did you think?
Yeah. Once I saw the sax, I was like, oh, that's the homie. There's a saxophone
So you
in
think
there.
this one, not this one?
Yeah, I think that one, not that one.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Neil says this is song 2, so
Yeah,
Neil agrees with me.
I mean, I agreed with you too once I realized what happened. I wrote 2 answers and separated them. Anyway, this song, I loved the sound of it. It was, there was like a certain, man, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's interesting because lyrically it has like this sort of like kind of drag you down, but the song itself kind of, it did have like that sort of low trudging feel to it, but it was
a
still
little bit doomy,
beautiful.
for sure.
Yeah, it's a doom in there. Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And I those lyrics.
Okay. I mean, aren't the lyrics right there on the screen?
No, that box is over it.
Oh, okay.
The sins of fathers burden us. We come from water, then go to dust.
Good line.
I know.
It's a good line. You know, there's
It's actually dust.
shout out to the homie Muhammad. He was running away because the Quraysh were trying to kill him.
Okay.
So it's him and Abu Bakr,
Oh boy.
and they're trying to get
Here we
in.
go.
They're trying to get intel because the Meccans are chasing him, trying to kill him. He's trying to escape to Medina. So he goes to this local, rancher or whatever, and he goes, "Did you see a party of people coming down here?" And the guy goes, "Well, everybody's looking for this dude. You need to tell me who you are." And Muhammad was like, "I'll tell you who I am after you answer the question." He goes, "Okay, you're going to tell me where you're from after I answer this question." Muhammad said, "Yes, of course. Sadaqt." So the dude says, "Yeah, Abu Sufyan and them boys is out there looking for the homie. They were just here like 2 hours ago." Muhammad said, "Thank you very much." The guy goes, "Hey, you didn't tell me where you were from." And Muhammad goes over his shoulder, "We're from water." Gone. Shout out to Muhammad.
Oh boy.
We are from water. And Yasser Qadi was like, "See, Rasulullah is so brilliant. He didn't lie, blah, 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 but he didn't give up his position, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
That shows he's a defined prophet." Like, I thought it was a pretty brilliant response. It's some shit that I would do. I was trained
That's
to do.
literally what I was thinking.
People don't realize, like, they don't train you to lie. They just train you because the problem with lies is that you forget that you lie. So then you end up in a situation where, like, somebody catches you and you lie, then you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So you get trained. Do not lie. Do your best to tell the truth. You just have to layer what you're saying or whatever. But, like,
How often
anyway,
do you use that on me?
that was a bonus. All right.
I see you're not answering.
This thing says 5% battery power remaining. Is that charged? Is that good?
This is not working? Then.
I mean, I don't know. Unplug it, plug it back in there. Hold on for a second, guys. Is it charging?
I can't see anything on the screen, so I don't know.
Hold on, guys, for a second. We don't want the video to cut out on y'all because it's going pretty good today, actually. Okay, so the sins of the fathers burden us. We come from water, then go to dust. And when we die, the legacy burdens those ones willing to see. Starve, do we deserve this attitude that burns us whole? Cry, do we observe our sanity's tremendous fall? We are all doomed. So is your prayer. The wicked thoughts, the darkest share. See what is done behind your pleasure. You'll never get the final treasure. Ya Rasul. Yeah, I was gonna say I think we should just do one of those.
It's not.
Let me.
It's not charging.
I don't think a computer is a good. It's still not charging? Is that the same charger?
No, it's another one. Maybe you can't charge while you're doing it.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think it just started.
All right, we're
Yeah, it's
live.
charging.
Okay, you gotta turn the
think-
phone a little bit.
I think it said charging, so.
Okay.
Is
I think
it good?
we
This?
should be all right.
Is that how you wanted it?
Well, it's a little bit cavernous in here, but that's the way you like it, apparently.
It seemed like it got darker.
All right.
'Kay.
So we're back. What'd you think of the song?
Well, I already said how I felt about it, but I'm looking at the lyrics.
Wait, what did you feel about it? Refresh my memory.
Oh, I liked it. I liked that it was kind of doomy and it had, but it wasn't. It still was like layered in beauty, I thought. And then the vocal style was also something that I like that vocal style. I think that I'm a doom person.
Yeah, you sound okay.
Like
where's the remote for that thing? You sound you like that Doom shit. I don't really like Doom a lot because I don't have the patience for Doom generally. But this one, saxophone is an instrument I grew up listening to because my older brother was like a big saxophone person. I don't know if you guys remember this, like the early 90s shows, especially if it was a cop show. You remember they would do those like musical little pieces you don't know what I'm talking about, but they used to do these little musical pieces for like 30 seconds where like he's in his car and he's driving and he's deep in thought. He's going to go get the bad guy. Well, during that period, they'd always play like some jazz or saxy shit. And my brother loved that shit. He used to stand up and like pretend he was doing like
Did he ever try
saxophone.
to play?
No. He never tried to play. He was always like air guitar and a type thing. So like whenever I hear saxophone, it actually creates this sort of nostalgia because I'm like in the room and Juna's up there like playing the saxophone or whatever. Like those
really?
early 90s shows, man, it was crazy. Like they would just you know, it was the same template every time. It's just like the show we watch right now. It's the same template. But like I said, like they always had that little break where like they play the saxophone or the jazzy thing. The guy's driving the car and like thinking about getting the bag. It was great. Usually had a girl in the car next to him and shit. She wouldn't say anything to him. The saxophone would be playing. But when you combine the sax with the metal, that was a combination. I was like, that's never gonna work. I remember the first time like somebody said, "Oh yeah, this band has a sax in it." The one I was in New York, I was like, "Man, get out of here! I don't even listen to that shit. Ridiculous. We're talking about heavy metal here,
Yeah.
like ridiculous." It wasn't until I got in this channel where I'm like, "Yo, this shit is real." I just
I've always been a fan of the saxophone. You know, some Kenny G.
Who?
Kenny G.
He plays saxophone.
Well, that type of music. I don't know if he's the one that plays. You know, I used to have a CD of his.
Yeah,
and
it's like I bought
enjoyed
you
it.
that violin.
Yeah.
Shout out to me. Shout out to me. All right. So the sins of fathers burden us. We come from water, then go to dust. What do you got for that?
I just thought that they were talking about like, you know, like the sins of the father are visited on the sons and like your father's sins. Like, let's say your father's an angry person, like you're gonna feel his wrath. You're gonna feel his anger. Like whatever sin your dad has, you know, it's gonna affect you. Maybe your dad's a womanizer or something. And why are you doing that?
Because Chloe trying to bite my leg.
Okay.
Give him some of that Rice Krispie treat, greedy bastard.
Just little pieces.
I gave him one little piece. I gave him.
Okay, you can do more. You can do more. Okay, so I just assumed that that's what it was. The sins of fathers burden us. Like it burdens us like that, you know, how that, and then how it gets passed to people. Like if your father, you know, if somebody's dad was abusive and then, you know, he becomes an abusive dad, or he's so busy trying not to be abusive that, you know, everybody has a vice, you know? So I just assumed that it was that, like whatever problems your dad has that you would have, it affects you.
The little I know of my father, I don't feel that at all. I don't feel that way at all. Like me or my older brother do not replicate my dad's issues.
Yeah, but you didn't spend the majority of your upbringing
Right.
with them.
No, I didn't.
But you replicate, you feel the brunt of some of your mother's issues.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's a sins of the mothers
I think
dynamic,
the
but
sins
yeah.
of the fathers. I think it's it all amounts. In my opinion, it all amounts to the same thing. It's still your parents, and it's still what gets past you, and it burdens people. And I mean, there's the real practical side of it too. That some parents talk too much about what their issues are, and they talk to their kids about it.
Well,
We've seen that happen a lot of times.
yeah.
That's not good either. Burden your kid with that. But we come from water, then we go to dust. I assume that means your birth and then your death.
And when we die, the legacy burdens those who one's willing to see. So Dwayne is saying that the sins of the father's line doesn't work with the second verse. I'm not seeing how that doesn't work. Because it says, the sins of the father's burden us, we come from water, go to dust. When we die, the legacy burdens those one's willing to see. Starve. Do we deserve this attitude that burns us whole? Cry. Do we observe our sanity's tremendous fall? I don't see how that doesn't work. It works to me. Because what he's saying is, he inherited this kind of attitude that ends up burning him whole, but he inherited that from his father. So is it really his fault, and should he have to bear that burden when it did not originate in him?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty logical to me, right? Like, it sounds like what he's saying is, I inherited this from my father, so how can I be held responsible for this attitude?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, homie, because it looks to me like it works pretty well. We're all doomed. So is your prayer. The wicked thoughts, the darkest share, you see what is done behind your pleasure, you'll never get the final treasure.
Wow, that's interesting. See what is done behind your pleasure. Yeah, that is a crazy thought. Like, when you think about, how like there's like this whole discussion, like it's your body, you should be able to do what you want with your body, and blah blah blah. Like, but people will use their body to harm other people. I mean, if you look at prostitution, as I'll just use that one. Like, what happens to the girls that are in that industry, and why? Some people would look at it and be like, well, they shouldn't have got that job. But it's like, if they had as much Orion, if they had as much finances as they needed, would they have actually taken that job? I'm assuming the majority of them would say no, because the majority of them say they're doing it for financial reasons. So if somebody's in that situation and they're doing it for financial reasons, and then you have somebody coming and using them,
at least they're not being a burden to society.
Babe, I don't know why you keep doing that. Everybody has a responsibility to help other people. There's nobody that's in a situation, unless you're like a paraplegic and there's literally nothing you can do.
Just make it a statement.
You can't. Everybody should participate in helping other people.
Just made a statement. Like,
yeah, we all know what you're doing.
She's not out there eating bonbons. She's out there working, being productive.
So, but then, like, other people, because they're going there for their pleasure, a lot of times those situations get extremely abusive, and those women get very abused. Because even though, like, I think because somebody's like, oh, well, I paid money for you, then you can do whatever you want to the girl, which is crazy. So a lot of times the girls will get in there and they're supposed to be doing one thing, but then the person just beats the hell out of them or whatever, does whatever they want to do with them. And like, so when she said that, those are the kinds of things that I thought, like, and that's an extreme example, but I think
I don't think it's extreme. I mean, every other girl now has an OnlyFans account. So I don't think that that's extreme.
Yeah. But I think that everybody, what?
I mean, we've just got an economic system where girls have to sell their body in order to survive, and I think it's fucked up.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But I mean, can't have them at home eating fudge brownies. The wicked thoughts, the darkest share, see what is done behind your pleasure. You'll never get the final treasure. That line about the final treasure is interesting to me because it feels like the two are connected. Like, you're doing something probably disadvantageous to somebody else. See what it's done behind your pleasure? Because you're trying to get to some state of being that you want to get to, which would be your treasure. But what it's saying here is like you're going to be locked into a system where you're doing whatever you can do for this pleasure, but the pleasure is never going to get to the goal that you actually want.
Well, and I think that you see that with, it's easy to see it with like rock stars or Tom Brady or, you know what I'm saying? Like where they're never satisfied or, they get to the end and is it like, is this all like, this is what I've been running after this entire time? Like,
yeah, it's a hard, that's why I always say like one of the worst things that can happen to a person is that their dreams come true. Because when your dream come true, you realize that it was just a fantasy. Like you attained, like I remember like being on the same stage as Korn while they were live. Mm-hmm. And I remember like looking out at the sea of people. That's not good. Why did you do this? Why did you do
the phone
this?
die?
I don't know. Check it. Can you check it? Is it? It died? All right, stand by, guys. Our camera died. Let me see. We'll go to the FaceTime camera. I'm on the FaceTime camera right now. Okay. What happened there?
I don't know. I don't know why it's not charging. Maybe you can't really charge it when it's in that situation.
It doesn't make any sense. We had to charge it.
It doesn't make any sense.
All right, we'll take care of it in commercial. I got we've got the FaceTime thingamajiggy, so that'll just have to work for the rest of the month. We are all due. Yeah, so it looks like this person's saying we're never going to get to anything that we want. And so in the pursuit of that treasure, you're doing XYZ behind, pleasure to get to the treasure. But by the end of your life, you're gonna see that you ran through all these people, you did whatever you could to attain this, what do you call it? The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, whatever it is. And then you find out that either A, there was never a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, or the pot of gold really doesn't make you happy. And now you're in this crazy situation where you're trying to figure out what makes you happy, but you have no dream to tame to. Shout out to Italy. Mm-hmm. We love you too. Like, that's a pretty crazy idea to think about. Like, what would happen if all your best dreams came true and you were not able to come up with other dreams to make you happy? See, all of us right now are like, oh, if I was a rock star, I'd be happy, blah, 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 this. And so, like, you might dedicate your life to being a rock star in order to do that. But like I said, I'm there in the Korn show, favorite band in the world. I'm literally 2 or 3 feet away from Head. I'm watching him perform. His other guitars are literally right there, like I'm touching them. And it was just such a it's like the pinnacle. If you're a Korn fan, it was like the pinnacle of I was like genuinely,
so happy.
It was one of the first times in my life I was like really like genuinely happy. I couldn't believe it. But I had this crazy moment. I looked down on the stage and I was like, yo, this is just a couple planks of wood. And I had stepped out onto the stage and it was like, like 3 or 4 feet above the ground. But like just the normalness, the normality of the fact that this stage, which is this magical place, I just saw it as just like, it's just a platform of card. Like and like, I don't know, there's something about it just like, it didn't ruin the experience at all, but it was just a real eye opener. Like, yo, this shit is not like, if you became a rock star, trust me, by month 3, you'd be over it. Mm-hmm. I know personally I would be over it after month 3. But it was definitely a crazy experience. And I just think that like a lot of us have had that experience. Maybe not everybody gets to be on stage with their favorite band, but well, like we've all had that experience.
I think we've all experienced it in lesser degrees, maybe. You know what I mean? Like every Christmas or holiday or event, or you get your new phone or whatever. Everything like that you're looking for when you get it. You're like, this is super exciting, but it doesn't last forever. Like, there's so many things that you've bought or so many things that you've been given that you don't even care about anymore, that you were so excited or you desperately needed. If you just look over the course of the history of your life, like, that's the story. Like, stuff is never going to satisfy us completely. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. No, it never. It really, truly, never will satisfy you. But that's a lesson that most of us don't learn, and but it's one of those lessons where literally it takes an entire lifetime for you to get. You see what I'm saying? Because you have to go around the track a couple times.
It depends
to
on
finally figure out the algorithm.
Yeah, maybe it takes a whole lifetime. I think it depends on the person, because if you're good at like putting together sequences of events, then I think you could start picking up on like, oh, every time I get something, it never lasts. Like that the joy about it never lasts. Even yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, I agree. I really like the song.
I did too. I liked the influences. Can you bring it back, the lyrics back up, please? It was like one of the last.
Yeah, I'll look for it somewhere. Go ahead. What about it?
One of the last lines, like it was. I can't remember. I can't speak about it because I can't remember it. It's. I just liked the way that they had ended it, but I don't have a friggin' phone. Nothing.
What?
I don't have anything to help you to get the lyrics.
What was the name of the band again?
I don't know. I don't have anything in my head right now. It's
White
just,
War.
Surfaces and Depths?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's something that we all have to contend with, and I think that if we ignore it and instead of really looking at it in the face and being like, wait, why am I never happy with any of this stuff? Where does actual joy and actual happiness originate? And is it something that I can have, or is it just something that we all kind of want, and that's why we see it in movies and TV shows and ads and stuff? People super happy. Can you be super happy? Is there something like, there's something out there? Yeah. Right there at the end when she said, low we sink, high we fly every time we fail. It was so like, man, like kind of like depressing, the way that she said it, because that is kind of, I think that different personality types experience those highs and lows differently. Like I used to experience highs and lows, but I don't think that the highs and lows were quite as separated as they are now. But I think maybe that's one of the reasons, not maybe, I think it's one of the reasons why Paul talked about, in the Bible talks about like being content and finding contentment. He says godliness with contentment is great gain. And I think about that actually a significant amount of time, trying to figure out like, yeah, how do you get to the point of being content? Is it just like actually being grateful? Is it like really looking at what you have and comparing it to someone who has less and being like, well, I have so much, that can't be really it. Like, but when she said the highs, the lows, but then you still fail, it's like, wow, like, well, what is the fail you think she's talking about? Is it just?
I just think it's a failure to attain the contentment, which I think is what the treasure is. And so, yeah, like whether you win or lose, you're still failing. Because if you lose, then you haven't attained your goal. But if you attain your goal and you have the pleasure runs out. Now you have nothing to aspire for. It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. I like the song a lot better than the previous song. It's a 9.6 for me.
It's 9.7 for me.
Okay, dear listener, let's go try to fix the camera now. Okay. So we're gonna try again with the camera. Sadie, my second favorite. Who's your first favorite, Dwayne? Who's your first favorite if Sori's your second favorite? I need to know that. I need to know that.
Okay, so you switching it?
Yeah. We're back to the phone, y'all.
How's that?
Yeah, I think we just need to adjust it a little bit, but I mean that looks fine to me. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So you ranked that song?
Yeah, I gave it a 9.7.
I gave it a 9.6. We have our suspect, right?
Well,
we're playing VIN and Sori.
I put this one. Who did you agree with that? Wait.
Song 3 is on the way. We shall continue, dear listener. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VIN and SORI. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Song number 3 is coming up. Let's see what the name of it is.
The name of the band is Hail Spirit Noir. The First Ape on New Earth is the name of the song. I have a bit of a suspect as to who this would be. But I am. Did they put lyrics on that Trello board for that for song 3?
Go check it.
Okay. So Saraya's taking care of the baby. I shall return. I am here, dear listener. Maybe you guys can do an Ask Me Anything. You guys should have your Ask Me Anything questions prepared the minute something like this happens. What's wrong with you people? What are you... Jesus, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord! The Bible can't save you. I agree, the Bible can't save you. Only Jesus can save you. Come and welcome. Hey. Kayate. Yeah, I don't claim that the Bible saved me. The Bible didn't save me. Jesus of Nazareth saved me, though. Do you take vitamin D3? Yes, I do. Not as often as I should. I take fish oil every day, vitamin D, vitamin B, and I have a apple cider vinegar with raw cayenne pepper and turmeric every day. And it's pretty fun. It's not fun. It sucks, but it definitely has its benefit. Yes, I was able to listen to the second song you sent, and I liked it a lot better than the bullshit I heard yesterday. So yeah. Vin, I sent you a personal message. Did you ever read it? What form? Did you text it to me on my phone? That's the best way to talk to me. I heard Orion repeat Vin. That was funny. It said Lucifer and all his fallen shall reign upon earth. Where are you idiots? The Bible doesn't say that Lucifer and his followers reign on the earth. It actually says that God and his servants are going to be a kingdom of priests, and they're going to reign on the earth. So I don't know who told you that the Bible said that Lucifer and his followers were going to reign on the earth. Scripture says that the righteous will inherit the earth. The meek will inherit the earth, and the righteous will rule next to Christ on the throne of the universe. So, shout out to God-forsaken earth I appreciate your contribution. All right, song number 3. Song number 3 is by a band named Hail Spirit Noir, the first ape on New Earth. This should be interesting. The first ape on New Earth.
Okay, did you read the intro?
Okay, well, I tried to get into Trello. I'm on
your phone?
I'm on Chrome. Am I on the wrong? Like, what's going on?
Because you switched it to VIN and
What
Sori.
are which one? Which one should we be on?
Mine right there.
This one?
Yep.
Story Secret. Okay. Yeah.
That's weird because all of my things were gone. No, you got to switch this. Right there.
Talk to the people.
Right there, sir. There we go. Trello. So yes, it's been a nice day. I don't know how to talk to them when I don't have a comment section, babe. I'm not like you. I can't make up stuff on the spot. It's an ask me anything. Ask me a question.
I went into something else. I'm sorry. You don't need to be sorry. Hey, Amy in the house, gang shit. You don't need to be sorry, little bro. You don't need to be sorry at all, man. It's all good. We here. Everybody's welcome.
All right. Song number 3. Is this one?
Hail Spirit Noir. All right. So now we're going to read. And when we're reading, we're going to get the full context so that we can guess who this one was. The Alliance leader who picked this says, experimental post-metal band Hail Spirit Noir was formed in 2010 in Greece. They describe their sound as a mixture of psychedelic elements, horror, sad melodies, and modern-day black metal. Instead of the black metal sound that was more apparent in their previous albums, their 4th album, Eden in Reverse, has more influences from krautrock space rock.
What?
Is that krautrock? I think it's krautrock. What the hell is kraut? They have a new
that reminds. Remember when you did the intro for the VIN and Sori channel, and
yeah,
that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay.
This
song, The First Ape on the New Earth, is from that album.
All right, here we go. Kraut rock, kraut metal. Shout out to everybody from Germany.
Yep.
I don't even know. It's kind of like a slur, isn't it? All right, here we go. Here's some nice kraut metal.
Oh, I don't know anything about
and
that.
I have no idea who the hell this is from that intro, so we're going to have to really concentrate. Here we go. Hail Spirit Noir, the first ape on the New Earth. Oh, I like the introduction.
Temples to be fire.
that was really inspiring. You could use that soundtrack for so many things. Running, exploring the woods.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. Eden in Reverse is a very interesting. It's almost like a theme. It's almost like a theme of the songs. Almost all of them make reference to some sort of religious or philosophical situation. I'm a complete question mark as to who this is.
I have my guess.
Like, this is one of those things I would like put as a placeholder and then wait till 4 or 5, because I'm assuming 4 and 5 are going to be obvious. Okay, look, you guys are the mods. You guys call the plays. Me personally, I don't have a problem with the homie, but I support everything the mods do. So, mod up. You guys don't have to worry about me on this channel, but you do have to worry about the mods because they're pretty protected. Okay. So, what did you think the song was about? What was inspiring you about the song? Was it just the musicianship,
the
lyrics,
musicianship, the rising action in it. It had this sort of trancey feel to it. Also, this is gonna sound weird, but it made me feel like I was in a kaleidoscope for a little bit of it. I don't know why.
I do. They had that one track that was like,
yeah, it just you know when you're seeing that, like
you
when
were
you're
in some like
not
psychedelic experience.
Yeah, like like the kaleidoscope thing that you twist like that and it keeps changing and everything like folds into itself. Like one of those. Like it kind of felt like musically it was doing what you see when you look through those things.
Yeah.
I always loved those. That was something I always wanted when I was a kid. Anyway, so yeah, it had that sort of vibe to it. There was like the rising action of it, but like I said, I wanted to say it could be a great running soundtrack, but I also, bring up the woods thing because I feel like it has like this sound of exploration.
Well, it's obviously he's coming from a Darwinian understanding of human beings and human nature, and so he's got this narrative that we, came from the primordial sludge and then crept out, and then, you got to have a couple million trillion years because you got to have, ways for mutations to happen that are beneficial and then natural selection. I was watching an interview with Stephen Meyer and Joe Rogan.
Who's Stephen Meyer?
Stephen Meyer is an intelligent design. I guess he's a scientist.
Okay.
And I forgot Michael. The guy's like the biggest skeptic on YouTube. Like his whole thing is skepticism. He did an interview with Stephen Meyer, and he said, "Listen, this dude is serious. This is not your mother's intelligent design. Like he's on his shit." And it was funny because I was listening to Rogan, and he was quoting this giant group in Europe. I wish I knew the name in Europe, but it basically was a conference on evolution. And the guy, one of the main guys, was saying, "Here are the 4 or 5 problems that we have." And so Stephen Meyer just going down these problems of evolution. Like a lot of people think that the Darwinian understanding of reality is like closed in the box. There's no discussion. There's no debate. And that's not true. And it hasn't been true since the inception. I'm not saying evolution actually happened or didn't happen. Like I said, I'm a free agent. I don't care either way. But anybody that thinks that evolution is like some ironclad thing that doesn't have serious problems or holes in it is ridiculous. Like one example would be, one of the guys he quoted says, "We need one miracle for evolution to work." I would say you need to have 2 miracles for evolution to work. One miracle is obviously life. The other miracle, which in my mind is more complex than life, which is consciousness. So you need currently those 2 miracles to work in order for your other worldview evolution to work. And they always dodge that issue. How do you originate life from non-life? How do you get consciousness from non-consciousness? Those are serious problems. And what happens is those problems get relegated to philosophy. So they say, okay, there's a philosophical issue. It's like, it's not a philosophical issue.
It's like
your materialist presupposition is a philosophy. But the origin of life is absolutely a scientific issue. And the origin of consciousness is absolutely a scientific issue. And to pretend that the thing is completely flawless is more of a religious mindset than a scientific one. Having said that, though, let's go with the current sort of narrative. So the first ape will soon take a knee and pledge his will to the soil. Then he will erect his temples to defy his coil. So I'm assuming when he's talking about coil, he's talking about the mortal coil. That's what they call it, the mortal coil.
I've not heard of that.
You have, because it's Spurgeon says it all the time. So mortal coil is like, it's basically you're going to die as a human being.
Oh. Okay.
Right? And so it says, he makes his pledge to the soil because the earth is providing him sustenance. But then he will erect temples to defy this coil. And I think what he's saying is that's their theory. We invented religion to deal with the concept of death. We don't want to die, so we invented religion where you can live after you die. So he's saying that the first ape takes a knee, pledges his will to the soil, and then he makes a temple and comes up with this religion so that he doesn't have to deal with the fact that he's going to die.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
And once up high, he'll dread the sky and long for land's embrace. So that's really crazy because he initially pledges his fealty to the soil, but then upward toward religion so that he could avoid the fear of death. But once he gets up there, he'll dread the sky and long for land's embrace, meaning the religion he creates is going to be so horrible that he's going to wish that he was dead. So the religion he created to defy death becomes so horrible that he ends up wanting to die anyway.
Wow.
Right? So like that's currently what a lot of these folks believe about the origin of religion and all the rest. And of course, like this is the thing. It's like, oh, you're afraid of death, so that's why. It's like, okay, but how does that explain hell then?
Right.
Because religion has created a situation where you actually have a fate worse than death. So if you created a religion because you were afraid of death, why would you create a concept that is infinitely worse than death?
Yeah.
Like I was talking to one of my really good friends. They're going through a really difficult time, and I'm not sure if they're on the team yet. So they were talking about their plan to end their life, and I said, what if where you go after you die is worse than where you are right now? And that was a really impactful question. So it's like these things do have some real significant consequences. I definitely understand the idea, although there's no explanation as to why these beings have such a crazy desire to live in the first place. In other words, people are saying you're afraid of death, so you created religion to deal with that fear. But there's no question as to why does this particular species want so badly to live that they would invent this idea so they could... That's never dealt with. It's like, what is it about natural selection that angles a person toward religion? Because there's a lot of times where the religion is actually self-destructive, like what we see in certain strands of Islam, where it's destructive to the people practicing it and destructive to everybody around them. So I think a little bit more work needs to be done from that worldview to account for religion, because it doesn't make sense to me that we would invent something that's literally infinitely worse than death because we were afraid of death.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like if all the religions only had a heaven,
then it would
that
make
would make
sense.
sense.
Right.
Or if you had a religion where only people you hate go to hell, that would make sense. But that's not what's happening.
Right.
Like we talked about the Israelite culture, for example. The Israelites were like, we're worshiping the true God. All you guys are worshiping the false God, so we're better than you. If you look at the Bible, God says, yep, you guys are worshiping the true gods. These guys are worshiping false gods. Your job is to live in such a way as to bring those people to me. But if you don't, I'm going to send those people to fuck you up. So everybody's held to the same standard in in biblical theology. So I'm not clear on whether or not the folks who posit this theory as to how religions originated have really thought through the ramifications of what they're saying, if that makes any sense. He forges now a chain so cruel and names its every link after the astronomers, the wormholes and doctrines cast round the moon, round the sun, but never long enough. Knife flowers bloom in daggers with poison-coated tips, subhanAllah. Our simian Mephistopheles holds two in every grip. Well, simian would be like ape-like, and obviously Mephistopheles is a demon. So, right as we said demon, this guy sounds like a demon. Orion, do something to quiet this kid down. That's an interesting line. He forges now a chain so cruel and names its every link after the astronomers, the
It reminded
wormholes,
me of
and doctrines cast round the moon, then round the sun, but never long enough. Night flowers bloom and daggers with poison-coated tips. Go ahead.
You know, on A Christmas Carol, when whatever the guy's name is, Margot or whatever, comes back to him as a ghost, and he was like, "This is the chain I created through my life.
Right.
Yours was this way 10 years ago," or something like that. Like when he said that, like forging the thing, it made me think. It reminded me of that.
The first ape on New Earth will wade through fields of grass. Some reflect his lips, others contain the stars and double helix shards. This guy can write his ass off. Holy shit. The double helix shards would be DNA and all that jazz. Yeah, like that's one of the things for me that's just too difficult to overcome.
Yeah.
And I don't think that unguided evolution can survive DNA. Which is why Crick, as soon as it was confirmed, the first conference after that was confirmed, they won the Nobel Prize or whatever, he came up with a panspermia idea, that aliens or beings from other planets came and seeded us here. And the reason he did that was because he was having such a hard time believing, because DNA is information. It's a code.
Yeah.
So now we're supposed to believe that a code that has information in specific sequences came about in an unguided process. And I think it was just too much. And so he came up with the panspermia idea because he thought it was an elegant way of being rational while still denying God, which is ridiculous. Because if our DNA is so complex that it necessitates an intelligence behind it, then that intelligence would necessarily be more complex than us. And so you would still need an explanation for the super complexity of those beings. And so you're still back to square one. Right, so panspermia doesn't solve the problem. So I just think that there just needs to be some real, like, once we get over the internet atheism nonsense, people who hold to that view need to do some real digging and deal with these consequences. Deal with the fact that the universe is not eternal. Deal with the fact that life seems to have sprung up in a very, spontaneous manner. Deal with consciousness.
Yep.
Deal with the death of physicalism. Deal with the death of local realism. Yeah. Like, all this shit is kind of like Nobel Prize just got awarded in December. Like, literally. We're not even a year away from it. So I think there needs to be some time taken. But I presume in about 5 to 8 years, there's going to be a completely different paradigm once certain events happen. That's just my...
You're probably right.
That's my assessment of the situation. Love the song.
Oh my gosh, I loved it too.
Brilliant. This is probably the most brilliantly written document I've looked at this year.
Wow.
Like the way this guy, like I said, like this particular show, like we're at the 2-hour mark. We're only on song 3. Like we're taking a lot of time. Some of it is like on purpose because it's the alliance leader, so like they're okay with longer reviews. Some people are not. You see what I'm saying? The lyrics are A+. I agree, Sadie. And the
music was so great too. I loved it.
See, the thing to me about what was happening with the music, it almost contradicted the base premise of the idea. Like when you look at the musicianship and the way that this guy combines sounds and chords and words, none of us would believe if we said to him, "Hey, how long did it take you to write that song?" And he says, "Oh man, I just turned on my guitar and I just started playing random shit. And all that shit came out exactly as you heard it. And I just took my pen and just started writing. Didn't think about anything. Just put random words together and then boom, here is the song." Nobody would believe that. And yet, something infinitely more complex, which is the subject matter he's talking about, came about with no director and no conscious agents. Yeah.
I just feel like if you could take the emotion out of it, and then it leaves you with a situation where it's like, okay, obviously if you keep looking back, there has to be some intelligence behind all of this. And so, you could make up something like the homie did and say, okay, well then aliens seeded us here. But then where did those aliens come from? Because eventually you have to get back to some sort of a beginning or a being that didn't have a beginning. and then that leads you back to the God of the Bible. So it's just seems like people kind of jump through a lot of hoops and try really hard to get away from the idea of a divine God. And then you have to ask the question, if you can point to Christians and say, oh, you guys created that because you have a fear of death, then you have to ask the question, well, maybe you're creating something because you don't want to face the idea that there is an
you have
actual
a fear
God.
of judgment.
Maybe you have a fear of judgment. Yeah. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. How often do you think people recognize that, like, they're part of the problem? Like, I think that sometimes, like, when we're in our own quiet moments, you can be like, well, I'm a really shitty person. But, like, when you hear people talking, like, people talk like they're the best, that they're great, that they're amazing, that, it's those people that are bad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's the Democrats, it's the Republicans.
Yeah, it's the rich, it's the poor, it's the this, it's the that. It's like, come on, everybody has problems. Everybody does horrible things. So we're all in the same boat. We're all in need of some help. But anyway, I mean,
well, God-forsaken Earth. I'm actually proud of that. I'm proud of all the autistic people in our community.
Mm-hmm.
In our community, you get valued by how you treat people and how metal you are.
Right.
So being autistic, being on the spectrum, come and welcome. And look, we're
family, bitch.
We're willing to welcome you too, bro. But you got to be respectful of everybody. And look, the mods are the mods. I don't run the show. This is not our channel. Like, the mods run the show.
Right.
And so whether, I personally wouldn't ban you, but I would just like to ask you as a friend not to use terms like that about autistic people. Because autistic people have brought a lot of light and life into my life personally and to the metal community as a whole. So I just ask you to respect that, little homie. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're participating, but show us the other sides of your personality. You don't have to come out with your fear of rejection and set up a situation where everybody's going to reject you because you're worried that we're going to reject you. Like, give us a chance to be your friends, okay? You don't have to come out and say all this weird shit to get attention. Like, we'll pay attention to you, bro. I'm sure you got something awesome to contribute. So just think about that next time you post.
9.8 for me.
Would you give it?
9.8.
I just feel like this song, lyrically, was just a special song, man. I gotta give this a 9.9. If there was a specific, like, really heavy moment or a really melodic moment, it would have pushed it for me, but the band almost, like, couldn't decide. So that's what happened. Konnichiwa. Please don't be angry at me. I'm trying my best to. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9.9. I give it a 9.9. Soraya, what'd you give it?
I gave it a 9.8.
She gave it a 9.8. Okay, dear listener. We are going to confer as to who the suspect is for this song. On the other side of this commercial, song 4 is going to happen. Be there or be square, dear listener. We shall return. Nah.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft.
What?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VIN and SORI. There's 160 plus thousand people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. SORI and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes,
All
dear
right,
listener.
you guys, as you know, and SGS, they colluded together to create a stream for the Alliance leaders as I guess like an appreciation for all that they do, which we thought was amazing and awesome and glad.
Some of the most underappreciated, but some of the best human beings on the internet. And I said it, so it's got to be true.
That's it. Okay, so up next we have our 4th song, and we are working on our. There, that's what we have.
If
for
you're
our...
new, these are pretty long reviews, but all these guys are OGs. Back in the day, we used to give 45, sometimes hour-and-a-half reviews on stuff. So, for them, we're allowed to go a little bit longer, but, you know, all this shit is customizable. So if you want to buy a stream or something like that, you can give instructions. Like some people are like, I don't want to hear, give me a 15-minute review and go. Okay, fine.
You can ask for a short review. You can't ask for an hour-and-a-half long review, though. That just happens.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear his top 4 now. Okay, song numero, was it 3 or 4, inshallah?
Well, this is song 4.
This is song 4.
According to my notes, but I've been wrong before.
I have never been wrong. Actually, there's one time when I was wrong, and it's because I thought I was wrong, but it turned out I was actually right, so I was wrong, if that makes any sense.
Toxic. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it.
All right. So song number 4 is, how would you say that?
Kvaan?
Revenge
by fire.
I wanted to read it. And look at what we did.
I don't understand. Them boys was playing fine. There was
no, they
noise.
weren't. They were screaming and all. That's why I...
Decibel Omega got us like a 2-hour reaction one time. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna have a discussion offline as to who the suspect is. Is that a placeholder for song 3, or is that your theory?
That's my theory.
Okay.
That's who you thought.
It's still a placeholder for me. I want to see what this one does. All right, guys. Song number 4. Here we go. Kvaan, Revenge by. Hold on. We got to read the actual intro. What am I talking about here?
Do you want me to take him back out?
Yeah, just put Orion. Orion, go back there and play with your brother, inshallah. Put on the light and go for it. Just try to keep him quiet, huh? Maybe you feed him something or something. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution to the war effort, Yarasul.
Can I give him a block or no?
Yeah, you could do that. Just make sure he doesn't eat any of it, okay?
Okay.
Actually, jump in his crib and play with him in his crib. See what I'm saying? Sorry, put the blocks in the crib and let Orion jump in the crib with homie. And also we'll give him some food so he can, What do you guys think of the camera though? Is the camera? I love your long reactions. Yes, a blurb is coming. We just have to take care of little homies for your viewing pleasure. Nobody wants to hear all that stuff when we're in the middle of a very, very important moment. Camera seems pretty good. Okay, guys, here we go. Song numero 4. Let's do it. Oh,
wait,
actually, no. We gotta read the little blurb. Might be. All right, here we go. Kvaan or Kvaan? Is it Kvaan? I think it's Kvaan. All right.
It's a relatively new one-man black metal band from Sweden. Though primarily melodic black metal, it has some strong elements of thrash at times. This is the first track off their first album, The Funeral Pyre.
Okay, if this song sounds like the description that I gave, I can predict right now it's going to be a song of the night for me. But if it doesn't, then there will be hell to pay, dear listener. All right, here we go. By the way, shout out to Internal Fire. Shout out to you. All right, here we go, y'all. Kvaan. Kvaan is the name of the band. That's how you pronounce it, dear listener. Kvaan. All right, here we go. Kvaan. Revenge by Fire. Okay. that shit, boy. They ain't doing nothing deep. That was Revenge
By Fire?
By Fire. Okay, we've conferred about our suspect. Losers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I think we had completely different feelings on this song. You seem to really like it.
If I had this song, what year is it? 23? 7 years ago? Like that would have been my anthem for sure.
Orion, we're supposed to be trying to be quiet.
We're trying to quiet him down, ya habibi.
You're making it too fun over there.
So sit down with him, inshallah. Yeah, man. Like this songs like this like indicate the biggest contradictions of my nature. Because like on the one hand, like right now I'm having this discussion about pacifism with this young Christian guy, and you know, we're going back and forth about it. I am completely convicted that the New Testament makes lethal violence completely haram for Christians, including in the defense of self or others. That's what I think. But I just love those conflicts, man.
So what's happening when I was watching this song? I'm like, man, like, cause how, like, what God says about violence and how He feels about it and stuff, and then like I see your joy and excitement as you're listening to the song.
It's terrible.
I'm like,
it's one of my greatest flaws. But
oh, we thought you didn't have any, Vin.
I mean, I'm probably wrong about that. It's probably a virtue, but right now I'm looking at it as a flaw. That line right there. And so they sail, and then with the like the melody course on that was beautiful. And then he says right here, with death in mind and war at heart, like that shit is so real. Like it is so that's such a real feeling, man. Like I don't know.
I wouldn't know that feeling at all. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be 1,000 with you. This is like my least favorite song. It's completely unrelatable to me.
So strange.
I don't like the sound of it really.
Like they had a very specific, explicit kind of guitar line that you could follow.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
You
It
just
just
weren't
wasn't my
feeling
thing.
it?
No, I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it. And like you, I feel like this is the type of music though that you'll end up liking, and I usually don't.
Yeah. No.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
no. I completely agree. I agree. And you're not a metalhead, and you're definitely not a violent person. So, like, I completely understand. And like I said, like I do not believe that I'm right on this from a biblical perspective. I think I'm wrong, but just the way they did it and the way that they had that melody line in there, there is something emotional. Like I'm talking about, like beautifully emotional. I don't think that's right to say. I don't know. Keep going. Go ahead. I'll try to phrase what I'm saying without
like some of the lines, like
glorifying.
ancient fires, trembling skies, we shall not forget. Like it was poetic the way that it was written. I definitely saw that the lyrics are too tiny for me to see right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't comment on them. Babe, pull up the lyrics.
You don't have to be a violent person to like violent music. Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I agree with that. I
think that's true. I think, like, for me, depending on where I'm at, will depend on whether or not, like, a song
you
that
was
has
about to get
violence
really
in it.
violent like a couple weeks
That's
ago.
why
like,
I'm saying it depends on where I'm at. Like,
like
today, no.
Shorty misunderstood. She misunderstood Sorry.
Well, yeah, because I think that you're right.
She
Like,
thought,
I'm not.
She thought because you were white.
I think that you're right that I'm not, like, by nature violent, but that
You're a very angry person, though.
But that's the thing, right?
And one of these days, I don't know, but don't let this exterior fool you, because a couple weeks ago at around, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock at night, she got into it with somebody, and she was all up in Shorty's face, blah, 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 let's go, yada, I'm in your face, you're a coward, all this shit. This one. Why you hiding behind so-and-so, blah, 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 like, come out here, you ain't shit, all that type of shit.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on where I'm at.
Don't get it twisted.
It depends on where I'm at. And, like, I think...
See, I embrace that darkness in myself. Like, I embrace it. I accept it about myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm capable of. I don't even know what I'm capable of, because I feel it in myself at, you know, different times, but it's not something that I generally, like, will, like, reach to and act out. Yeah. It just depends on where I am.
There's been a couple times, though, when you've gone after people. You went after that girl in the movie theater.
Oh, I know.
Then you told Shorty to get out.
I've had that same situation in the store, too, because the woman...
Yo, she wrote... That's what I'm saying. Like, there's been more... Well, I think... Well, you haven't gotten any physical altercations, because like I said, like, Sorry is, like, a very strong woman, and she's tall for a woman, even though, you know, whatever. And, like, when she gets serious and wants to hurt people, every single time I've seen the girl terrified. Every single time. And they always act like they're tough. And I think that's what fucks them up, is that you're like, oh, white Christian people. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, is you're pretty, so they're sleeping on you. Because they think, you know what I'm saying? But, like, don't get it twisted like, oh, Vin's a violent one, but Sorry is a peaceful one. That's not how it is. Like,
it hasn't happened where...
Sorry's on some gang shit.
It hasn't happened where I've had to actually do something, because nobody, like, when I'm putting it out there, nobody comes back. They don't come back. But to be honest with you,
out the smoke.
I'm glad because at the same time, I don't know to the extent that I would go. Like, it really depends on the day. And I don't, like, the day after something like that, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I would look back on the situation and, like, replay some of it, because I don't know, dude.
Yeah, but imagine, like, being in a car, okay, and you're gonna have to go meet that person, and that person is gonna go do jihad. They're gonna fight.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine the feeling driving to that location? That would be. It's an awesome feeling, right? I mean, it's terrible as a Christian.
Well,
but if like you saw a video of homegirl slapping,
yeah,
right, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna see you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, to be clear, the person slapped an elderly woman. Okay.
Yeah, she put her hands on elderly.
All right, so. You know, if I would have got busy with her, she had what she had coming to her.
It's completely justified, although you called her a coward before that happened.
That's because she was hiding behind the elderly people.
You see what I'm dealing with? All y'all thought that I was the problem, okay? I am not the problem. That shit was incredible. But I'm saying, like, if you saw that video and you saw that girl and she was like, yep, we're ready to go, and then homeboy was ready to go, so we're driving down there, I'm going to take homeboy, you're going to take homegirl. You would...
Babe, stop. It's not. Oh, my God.
Exactly. We'd have the best post-conflict discussion ever, right? After that. That's okay. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know. I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
I mean,
so imagine watching the news. Some people fucked up your country or whatever, and then you're in, whatever, and people are like, yo, 5 minutes. Like, you're like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And that feeling is very, very hard to abandon. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a very hard feeling.
Like, I feel like I try to stay away from that because, as I said before, I don't know how far, like, for instance, I feel like you have a good handle on what happened to the person. Well, I haven't been in a physical altercation. I know that in my core I have it, but I haven't done that. So what I'm worried about is that I would at first not take it far enough.
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
And then I feel like I'd take it too far.
I wouldn't let you murder a person.
No, I would not murder a person. But, like, if you grab a hold of somebody and you use the wall with their head, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, what's going to happen to them? Like, it's not like you could predict I was going to do something like that.
The wall with her head? That's where you was going?
Yeah, grab them and...
I just thought you was just going to ground and pound.
No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Jiu-jitsu would sit so that you can use your powers for evil.
No, that's untrue. I think that if you had some of that, you could twist somebody up without going to the extreme.
Yeah, but you would have went to the extreme with Shorty, especially after she hit that person. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I wanted, like, in the other situation, like the one where she's like, "Yo, open the door." She ran after the person. She's like, "Yo, open the door, open the door."
Again, that person was going after a child. That's what happened. They went after a child. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, y'all. They went after a child.
Beautiful Snow White Sori was running out on some gang shit, saying, "Yo, open the door, bitch."
No, but what was worse was that I stayed really calm when I went up.
That was terrifying.
And I was like, open up the door. Just open the door.
That's terrifying.
And the person was like, they've been talking for literal years. They've been talking about what a gangster they are. And then I came up and calmly said, open up the door. Open up the door. But I'm sure she could tell in my eyes. I didn't even know what I was going to do when she opened the door. I knew she was going to get something. I just didn't know what it was going to be.
I think you secretly do love the song because you absolutely have a warrior spirit.
No, I said I literally said it depends on the day. It depends on the day. Like today, you did your thing and I had my own mission that I had to accomplish, and I had a really good time. I was listening to some really great stuff by John Piper on the Book of Hebrews. I'd recommend it to anybody. John Piper he's a pastor, and he does like this whole sermon on, like, it's a bunch of sermons on the Book of Hebrews, and there's like 52 videos in this playlist. And so I'm just like going down this playlist and I'm like loving it, and I'm just getting saturated in the Book of Hebrews. And so when I'm in that sort of environment, I'm not trying to be violent with anybody. I'm trying to reconcile myself to my own sin nature and Jesus and everything that he's done. So like I'm all in that mode. So then the song pops off, and I'm like, well, I'm not violent today. Now, 2 days ago, so really the song, it came on a bad day for me.
Okay, what about the girl in the movie theater? She didn't do anything to you.
Well, I mean, that depends.
She literally didn't do anything.
No, that depends on how you look at it.
The other one slapped an elevator.
There's no excuse. The other two situations, I was defending other people. In the movie theater, I was annoyed with the girl because she kept shoving her jacket. There are certain cultures that believe that they can run the show on everybody else and that everybody should fall in line with what they say. And they come with that attitude, and she came with that attitude. And she was shoving her jacket on me in the movie theater. I don't want your nasty ass jacket on me. I don't know what's on it. I don't want your jacket on me. So I pushed her jacket off of me, and she got all whatever. And then I said, I don't want your jacket on me. And then an altercation started between the two of us. And then, you jumped in, I guess, and
I didn't jump in. I remember I looked over, I'm like, yo, y'all good?
Oh, right.
Then I was looking at her boyfriend, and I was like, yo, you good? He's like, yo.
He didn't want any.
He's like, yo, I'm good. I wasn't going after the dude. It was two girls just fighting. I don't care about that shit. I just wanted homeboy to know, like, yo, we good? Because I'm good with it. I'm like, that's y'all's business if you got beef. Me and him don't need to have beef because y'all are going at it over a jacket.
I think in that situation, I I have like a really like horrible relationship with control. Like I think in my entire upbringing there was so much control between the school systems and my own parents' environment and stuff. Everybody, it was just a controlling environment. You did not have space to be yourself and to think for yourself and do your own thing. It was so controlling. And I think that I'm so done with that, you know, if I'm in a seat and your jacket is on my lap, put your jacket on your own lap. Put it somewhere else. I don't want it on me. And so when I say, can you take your jacket or whatever? And then she pops off with an attitude. No, I'm not good with that. And so in that situation, I wasn't trying to defend anybody that was weaker or whatever. Like, it was literally like, this is my space and I don't want your jacket on me.
Yeah, I mean, you just, you have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, be that as it may.
Shout out to all the victims.
When the movie finished, I made sure I was ready just in case.
Yeah, I know. And then the other situation happened, and you start taking off your shoes. I was like, oh my god.
Well, I had socks on, and we were on a nice slippery floor. I said, word. I took off my socks.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I had some grip there in case I needed to.
The moral of the story is never assume. That's why I say you never underestimate your opponent, okay? So don't assume because somebody's light in a country bumpkin or whatever that they can't get busy on you, because they will get busy on you.
But it's not out of nowhere.
You can find them wrong.
It's not out of nowhere. People understood that, move your friggin' jacket. And
that one you were completely wrong on. I mean, I was going to say it during that time period, but you were completely wrong on
No, I'm not. Well,
did
it have to go that way? No, it didn't have to go that way. But I'm not gonna let somebody put their jacket on. I'm not doing that. And I'm telling you, like, germs to me are like, I already don't even like sitting in the seats at the movie theater because everybody else's ass has been in them. That grosses me out. I would bring a sheet and put it over the seat if it wasn't so outrageous. I'm like literally like that. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you have no idea. I've been so rude to people that I love because of that. And I'm trying to pull back on that and not be that type of person. But at the same time, like, you're just a complete stranger and you don't want your own jacket on your lap during the movie, but you're going to put it on my lap? Fuck that. No way. And nevertheless, that's where we were. And I'm sure if you looked at the situation surrounding it, I'm sure I was not in a good space before going over there anyway. So.
Oh, I remember. You weren't in a good space.
Yeah.
You weren't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, me and you had just had an argument.
Oh, well, there it is.
I squared that situation. I'll show you later how I squared it. But, yeah. You were, you went in there and you were gonna take your pound of flesh. This is a 10 for me. I predicted it. This is a 10 for me. I love this. I love this song.
6.7 for me.
6.7.
Yes.
This song is a 6.7.
That is how I.
Man, I hope the next girl you try fucks you up.
That's how. Wow.
How could you give this song a 6.7? This is one of the best songs of all time.
I'm so happy my husband just said that to me. That's so amazing.
It's a 10.
Anyway, 6.7 for me. We'll be right back. We got more songs.
All right. We're on the way. One more song. We're playing VIN and SORI Clue here. VIN out.
SORI out.
Gone.
I'm VIN.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As SORI says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VIN and SORI. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. SORI and I are working on a song. $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes,
All
dear
right,
listener,
you guys.
yes, dear listener.
The final song on our stream tonight. So, as you guys know, we've got 5 songs that came from Middle Earth and SGS. Well, they're the ones that got the whole stream going, and they allowed the alliance leaders, I guess, to pick the songs, and we have to decide which alliance leader did which song. So we've got 5 songs.
We've got a guess.
We've got a little guessing thing here, and Vinny and I are putting our things together, and we'll see how close we can get.
Clue. It's like Clue. I gotta tell you guys,
is.
I'm thoroughly in this situation. I really am. It adds another dynamic to the thingamajig for sure. Who came up with that idea?
I don't know.
Is that Middle? It's probably Middle. Middle comes up with all good ideas. All right, guys. I know that we're a little chippy. I am trying to fix that as we speak. We've got one more song for you guys, and then after the song, we're going to go down on our top 5 lists as to who we thought did what. The name of this band is Solitude Eternus. The name of the song is Scent of Death. I am going to read the... try to keep it quiet, all right.
Death?
I'm going to try to read the little blurb thingamajiggy. Orion, do your best to keep your brother quiet, okay? We're almost there. We got one more song, inshallah. Damn it. This thing is killing me. It's taking forever.
Should you...
No, hold on. We're almost there. Talk to the people. Come up with
come up with something. What was today? Yeah, you guys should check out that. I mean, if I'm going to just talk about my day, I guess. You guys should check that out. John Piper, Piper, and look at that Hebrews list. It's a really great thing to listen to because you get some insight into he like literally breaks it down so much because it's 52 videos for one book of the Bible. So he really goes into it. And the concepts that he brings up, I think, are really interesting. And I love the connections that he makes. And he's really good about like taking like individual words and like connecting them to the other words, or saying, hey, if this was me that wrote it, I wouldn't have put it in this order because I would have been doing it this way. But the author did it in this order because it means this significant thing. So I was just really enjoying. I had a long drive. Usually whenever we're in the car, I basically just let you run the show on whatever we listen to. Pretty much our entire time together, that's what's been the thing. So yeah, the other day I was like, you know what? Let me put on something. So we listened to a little bit in the car together. That was pretty cool. And then
what, the Piper?
Yeah, I put it on when we were in the car.
Okay, guys, I am trying to pull up Trello. Please be patient with me.
No.
What? What happened? Something happened?
Nothing. It seems really chippy, and I don't know.
Yeah,
how
it's
gonna
chippy,
come out of
and
that.
the comments are frozen.
Okay, so
I'm not sure.
can you guys hear us? Can you guys type 22 if you can hear us?
See, the chat isn't progressing. So even if they type 22, I won't be able to see
Oh,
it.
right. Okay. Well, what do you want to do?
We're almost there. It's one more song. I'm just going to pull up Trello because I want to do this right because we got one more song left. All right, so that's speeding up a little bit. So Sori was listening to John Piper on the radio.
It's on YouTube. I don't really. There's so much things that I have that I could say, but I can't say because I can't say them. So it like leaves me at a loss because all the like important things that are at the front of my head, I'm like, I can't say that. I can't say this. Can't say that.
You can't say it generically?
No, I can't.
I'm blind on you guys right now. I can't see what you guys are saying because I killed the chat thingamajig to save us space. God almighty. All right, here we go. Thank God.
All right.
We'll slip over to this other side.
So we've got 5 songs.
There it is.
And when we break
Solitude Eternus, Scent of Death.
when we tell you guys who we think it is, if we had double picks for some of them, do you guys want us to let you know which the double picks were? So you can see where we may have been wrong,
Yeah, like our
right?
list doesn't. I would like us to have complete consensus. I don't feel strongly about anyone except for the first two, maybe. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Page unresponsive. Oh my god, this is so frustrating.
You don't want me to just bring up Trello on your phone?
No, I told you what I needed you to do. All right, guys, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Well, run the commercial while you're doing it.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I'll run the commercial. That's actually, well, it's right there. So let me see. It looks like we're in some good shape. Amy must have done some magic, or Sadie with her witchcraft, or whatever it is. It's one of those two. Or maybe it's Sadie's witchcraft that's fucking us up right here. I would say something, but that's a conversation between me and the shown girl. But yeah, shout out to Sadie. Oh my gosh, I swear some of these days I really do want a compound, and then other days I'm like, everybody would fucking die in that shit, but they would die knowing that they're loved by the person that probably killed them. That's how it would be. Okay, we made it after all this time. I know we're a little chippy. I'm trying to work it out for you guys, I promise. The Alliance leader who picks this says Solitude Eternus is an epic doom metal band from Arlington, Texas, or Texas. You've previously reacted to one song off of each of their first and second albums. Scent of Death comes from what would prove to be their sixth, and final album in 2006. Shortly after that, the singer Rob Lowe, took over as the lead vocalist for Candlemas, and the band has been on hiatus since 2011. Recently, it's been announced that Solitude Eternus is reuniting, to play at the Hell's Heroes Festival coming this March. There's no Heroes in Hell, though. This will be their first performance in over 12 years. Wow. I bought my ticket on the first day when this was announced, and I chose this song to celebrate their return.
It up.
Who would that be? I'm trying to get from the intro, like the clue as to who that would be. All right, let me copy and paste these lyrics, and then we're gonna do "Scent of Death" by. Looks like we're back without the chippiness. Bless God. Solitude Eternus, "Scent of Death," "Scent of Death," dear listener. So that is coming up right freaking now. Let's do it. Scent of Death. Immediately spooky. Apologize, but I got to rewind this thing back to the very beginning to get the whole vibe of this song. I'm not.
I agree.
Got to do it again. Sorry, guys. Sounds a little bit like Wherever I May Roam, Metallica. like the same kind of. Same kind of setting almost. Kel, do you see any Metallica crossover, or am I crazy? some Maynard James Keenan.
Get that long.
That Tool shit.
Take me, lay exposed. I'm dead. Oh, there's a promise, wretched creature.
That was interesting because that song was like 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes. Didn't feel like that.
Really?
Oh, it did for you?
Felt every second of that shit.
Really?
It didn't go anywhere. It was the same thing, like the entire song.
I kind of felt like I got in a trance with it.
Yeah, you like that doom stuff. I don't like doom metal. I'm not a fan of doom metal. Like, the song is 9 minutes. This was the problem I had with, was it Opeth? Where they did the dun. It was like a minute and a half of like
Harlequin,
a bunch of zeros.
Forest. Yeah.
Dude, like.
Oh wait, was it?
Yeah, it was Harlequin Forest. That was like the first major disagreement we had on live. Then we went to that show and all those people were like, "So I was right. You're crazy." Yeah. Dude's definitely talented, like the Maynard James Keenan stuff where he's just like dragging the thing. This guy's probably older than Maynard. Maynard probably copied his style, but definitely talented vocally speaking. The song's gotta take me somewhere. And initially the song took me to like, the Nile Delta. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in the Nile River, a couple thousand years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that kind of energy. Like, that's where it put me. But, like, we were on the banks of the Nile River, and, like, we didn't go anywhere else. We didn't go to look at pyramids. We didn't go look at the Sphinx. None of that shit. We were just at the fucking Delta, just chilling. And it really didn't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's my issue. Like, yo, okay, like, where are we going? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I guess for me, the way I experienced it, I felt like it was kind of entrancing. Like I kind of got sucked into it. And then he did like some vocals where he kind of like just shot out there and kept it going for a really long time. And then there was other times.
Give him some candy or something, ya Habibi. Give him some candy or something.
But just make sure it's a little tiny piece.
Yeah, it's only 2 in the morning. We're great parents. Continue.
Yeah, so like there was those parts, and then
jumping in here because I'm trying to find the comments because the comments.
Yeah,
on the
that's
other
why
side
I was gonna unplug this one and plug
comments
your phone
on the
in.
other side are completely screwed up
Because we're gonna need them.
Wait, whoa, stay where you are.
That was at 28%.
I got you. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, because I definitely want to make sure we can see people's comments when we start listing up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hold on for a second. Honey, does he need milk? What's the deal? Lay down and stop fighting sleep, you weirdo. Alright, Soraya's on her way back. I'm pulling up the internet so I could see your guys' because I've been flying blind. I haven't been able to look at your guys' comments because the comment section on my Ecamm thing just died on me. I swear to God, man. He's it's not one thing, it's the other, I swear. And I can't even do an Ask Me Anything because I can't see your guys' comment. But ask an Ask Me Anything question. I'll try to figure out some way to get visibility on y'all. This is killing me. We had everything perfect. Go ahead. Give me that charger from your phone. We'll try to do it in show. All right. So let's talk about this. And by the time that happens, I should be able to get commentary up.
Yeah. So, and then there was one part of his vocals which I like made a reaction when it was during the song. Yeah, but what he did with it, like he turned his vocals. I don't know how to describe it, and it was like kind of like had like this sort of deeper feel to it, and then he went up with it. I loved that part. I got entranced by it. I don't know what else to say. Like I did not feel the full 10 minutes of that song. I felt like more like 2.5 minutes, which is crazy. So definitely slipped into one there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like you seem to like Doom. You seem to like that stuff. Like you kind of, you're more.
Well, I think I've said it before that I'm not a patient person, and that's probably why. Like I understand that the only way to appreciate music like that is you have to stop and you have to like feel it and get into it and let the song decide your pace. So. Which is why I don't like those the songs that I say, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting pushed down a conveyor belt and forced forward. I hate songs like that because I feel like that in regular life, like every friggin' day. Anytime I'm doing anything, I always feel like I have to be going on speed 10, and I am so sick of living my life like that I think when I hear a song that like forces me to like, if you want to experience a song, you got to slow down. I think I can appreciate that also because, like, when there's no dictated pace, like, okay, I gotta get this whole house cleaned, then I'm gonna just go on 10 because there's no pace that's dictated. The pace of the song is dictated to me, so I don't have to go on 10. I actually have to slow down to be able to experience it, and I don't have to feel, this is weird, but I feel guilty if I don't go fast enough. So with the song, allots me the opportunity.
Like in general?
Yeah, just in general.
In a task?
Everything.
Wow.
Which is why when I'm already going on 10, if you'll ask me like, where are you or what's taking so long? It throws me right over the edge because I've already pushed myself up to a 10 and I'm already doing stuff on a 10. So it's like, wait, so even that wasn't like, it's not commentary on you. It's commentary on me and how I experience it. So because I'm already up on 10, then when a question gets asked, like, why is it taking you so long? It's like, what the... I can't do any more than then I get all stressed out and I get whatever. But a song like this, if you want to experience it, and obviously that is what we're doing. We're here to experience these songs and give our take on it. So if I want to experience it, I have to like get my like internal chi down and just like slip into the song. And I think I was able to do that with this song, which is why it only felt like it was like 2.5 minutes. And I liked it.
That is very fast. You have one of the most unique minds I've ever seen, ever.
Well, thank you.
That's what I always say. Like your mind, like I've told you this. Like I've been around the world. I've never seen somebody whose mind has so much power over perception of reality, actions, the whole 9 yards. It's like it's incredible. It's incredible to me. Like I've never. That's why for me, it's like. That's why I think you literally could do anything because your mind is it's crazy. It just depends on whether or not.
I don't know what about that was crazy though. That seemed all regular.
Well, to take music, to take the pace of a song, not the actual lyrics of the song, but to take the pace of a song and relate it to these deep psychological sort of that is a pretty interesting way to interact with music. Like most people don't have that kind of consciousness relative to their music takes. So I just think Vin, you like Emma. Okay, so now I'm looking at some commentaries. Part of the vocal toward the end reminded me a bit of the azan, the Muslim call to worship. Yeah, for sure.
Did it for you as well?
Yeah, it did.
It did. Oh yeah. It had a Mediterranean sound to it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure, because it had those Mediterranean scales. I mean, Muhammad didn't like scalified music, so that doesn't work. But sorry, Muhammad, but there's scales even vocally, so I mean, it doesn't really work. shout out to Muhammad though. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, lyrically,
what is this? Wouldn't it be considered like egotistical? Like he didn't like dogs, so nobody can have dogs. He doesn't like the instruments, so nobody can have them.
He's like the last and final prophet. Like you could no longer refer to him as Muhammad. Like you had to call him Rasulullah or whatever. Like
what does Rasulullah mean?
Messenger of God. Like. You know, you can't say his name without saying the honorific at the end, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like, it's just, obviously. Like, what do you mean? Shout out to Muhammad, though. Okay, so this is a song about death, drowned in stale,
Ew,
yeah,
the lyrics, I did not like the lyrics. I was like, peeling skin to smell the rot and stuff. I was like, what? Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic lyrically.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to have for me personally, I never want to enter a place in my life where I need lyrics like that. I feel like if me personally, I need to hear lyrics like that, I'm not in a good spot at all. I don't ever want to be there.
Yeah, there was a band that we banned.
Yeah.
A band that we banned. There's a band that we banned. Somebody got through the filter with one song because the guy did a song with Nergal like as a one-off. But I don't like. Obviously, we talk about suicide in the metal community, but I do not like suicide promotion.
Yeah.
So if an artist tells me I'm specifically writing because I want to drive my audience to harm themselves, and I'm just not. I don't want anything to do with you. That doesn't mean that songs that have suicide as a topic are off limits. It's just the genre that promotes that as something positive or as an option is not something I ever want to promote. Mm-hmm. Obviously.
Yeah.
And I knew what they were doing because I was like, wait a second, isn't that guy? But then I looked at the lyrics and I was like, okay. So that particular one-off was fine because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on Nergal and yada, yada, yada. And so we were able to accept it. We made it happen. But I'm not, like, if you look at the album cover, it's a kid swinging from a tree. Like,
a kid?
Yeah. It looks like, I assumed it was a kid
because
long
enough
at the end of the song, a kid is drowned in blood or whatever.
I stopped reading the lyrics. I'm going to be 100 with you.
Yeah, lyrics.
They were too much for me. I just didn't want those visuals.
The lyrics were, yeah, they were a bit dark.
You know, because the thing
it just never went anywhere for me.
This, like the what it sounded like and what the lyrics were, to me, they didn't match. For me, they didn't match. So, like, the lyrics, that fucked with the vibe of the song for me big time. Like, I was in a trance, I was in the slow, I was like going, I was feeling it, but those lyrics were like peeling skin, smelling the death decay. That was just over the top for me, and it didn't. My mind is very like, it's the visuals. You know, like
both of us do.
Yeah. Sometimes just to, and you know what? I think it's intensified from being with you because
I'm that way on 10.
He's like that on 10, and he gets like literally like he might even start to gag if he hears like certain things said in a certain order and stuff. So
yeah, but you try to act like I'm crazy. But like, so for example, like a thong, like
I cannot believe you're bringing it up.
That's disgusting. Like, think about it. Especially, you know, remember that whole situation? Like, we had a whole day we were walking around. It was like a Disney World type place and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking 85 degrees and shit, and everybody's walking around for like 9-10 hours, and then you're supposed to go back in your apartment and like, ooh, this hot thong. Like, it's disgusting. If you really think about it, this shit is like gag worthy. I think I did when I... You're like, what? What's wrong with you? I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe if you like just came out of the shower, sure, but there's a string that's like, because normal underwear doesn't go into that crevice,
right? And if it does, people pick it out. That's why it's a wedgie. They don't
right.
want it.
So like, you purposely did that. I'd rather die.
I can't believe you're on the topic.
I'd rather
So
die.
when Vinny first started talking about, I was like, wow, because I'd never heard anybody with that reaction. Literally, you're the only person I've ever heard.
I am not the only person that thinks that is
I
disgusting.
had ever heard.
Anybody,
So
if I were to, you know what that is? That's like a social situation where like dudes are told that they're supposed to be attracted to that, but once they start thinking about it, everybody's the same way. When I'm like, yo, look, I mean, Shorty just walking around for 9 hours, shit, all up in her shit like that. Like, you saw her go to the bathroom and shit. Like, it's fucking disgusting, bro. Dudes are like, oh my God! They're all covering their heads and tearing their like, throwing dust in the, you know, like, no, haram! Like, it's disgusting, bro. Like, I hope my children are protected from such horrors. It's a really disgusting thing. I don't really know how that relates to the song.
So, like, I'm a terrible person
Other
because
than
once I
rhymes
know
with song
something
and all.
like that about him, so if we're out in this situation where it's a hot climate, something, whatever, and like somebody bends over and you can see that that's going on, if I see it,
listen,
I'm like this.
There have been a couple times,
and he's literally. And then he gets that wild look in his eyes, like he's very angry with me.
No, I'm not. I'm just confused. The whole thing is confusing, especially in a hot climate area. I feel like that's the last place that should happen, but it happens. Like, every second person here is doing that shit. It's really real. I'm like, yo, man, that shit is fucking incredible. There's no way in the world that...
Yeah, well, we had gone to like an event, and
if we move to a warm climate area, like, I hope me and you can have that conversation in a rational
What do you
way.
mean we have that conversation? What do you mean? You don't want me pointing it out to you anymore?
No, I don't want you, like, deceived into maybe thinking, oh, this might be a sexy thing to do. We're going out on the town. We like to go clubbing and shit.
Babe, I'm beyond that. I entered that. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think it's funny though, and yeah. So
I don't really know what that has to do with the song.
Yeah, well,
the
it
song
was
is
disgusting.
the song is
visuals.
a 7.4 for me.
7.4?
What did you give it? You gave that brilliant song a 6.9 last time, so don't even try.
I'll give this one an 8.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pull up Doom Floss. Oh my God.
Ew.
Doom Floss. Jesus God Almighty. Yes, I'm telling you, like, every second person here, I promise you, they're all doing it. I'm like, what is going on here?
How do you know?
I need to do a public service message. What do you mean? I see. I'm like, wait a second.
Why are you looking?
Because it's 95 degrees. It's like, yo, think about this, brothers.
That's a lot of asses you're looking at, babe.
95 fucking degrees. I'm not looking at their ass. I'm just saying it's 95 degrees. And you've got, for 8 hours in 95 fucking degree temp. We're talking about global warming, climate change. And here we are. Fuck that. Good night. All right. Now, let's get to the real business of our channel, because we're an actual professional YouTube channel, dear listener. These are not some amateurs you're dealing with. You are dealing with the pinnacle of this shit, which is me. All right. Now, having said that, we need to go back. So we have our list. Hold on. Let me read this thing, because I want to make sure. I'm pulling up the introduction right now, dear listener. Oh, God. Why did you even bring that up? What a disgusting thing.
I didn't bring it up. You did.
How did that even happen?
You brought it up.
How did we get to that logical...
I think we were talking about, like, the gross stuff in the song, and then... I don't remember. Maybe I brought it. I don't think I brought it up, though.
All the nastiness. You're
Pretty
right.
sure you did.
Kellandros, Archero, Negative Vibes, Neil, and Misery Biz. Okay, so you've got... So we got that guy as number... Right, so we have to use that guy.
Wait.
Hold on, we're conferring right now before we publish our list, dear listener. Yeah. So we've got our 5. We're just going to organize them. And yes, you guys are absolutely the most professional audience in YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. That's a fact.
100%.
That's a fact. All right. So give us a second to confer, por favor. We take this very seriously.
Hey.
People?
Yeah.
Look at the phone. Say hi, people.
Hi, people.
There you go. They just said hello. See? All right, give me a kiss. You gotta go now. I love you. Let's go in bed. Well, dear listener,
We couldn't agree.
our original goal was to be unanimous, but as with everything with us, that came at more of a difficulty than we thought. So having said that, Soraya's going to read her list. I'm going to read mine. Middle, you tally the who got the most right, who got the most wrong, and you tell us the winner. Okay?
All right. So song number one.
Here's stories. Now we're going to do
I was just going to go back and forth with them. So I'll pick this one and then you pick that one.
A quick refresh. The song first was Over a Memorable Fancy Plates 12 and 13. Second song was White Ward, Surfaces and Depth. Third song was Hail Spirit Noir, the first ape on the new earth. Fifth was Kvaan, Revenge by Fire. And the last one was Solitude Aeternus, Scent of Death. Okay. So, Soraya, who do you believe selected song number one from Over?
I thought song number one, I ended up picking it was Negative.
Okay, so Sori's got negative vibes for the Over song. I have Neil for the Over song. So the song where it says...
The spoken word one.
The spoken word one, basically. I'm saying it's Neil. Soraya is saying it's Negative. Okay, so if we get it right, it's 1 point. Obviously, if you get it wrong, it's no points. Okay.
Okay, the second one, I picked Archero.
The second song was called White Ward, Surfaces and Depth.
And I picked Archero because it had this, had some saxophone or something in it. So that's why I went with Archero for that one.
I also went with Archero for song 2 because it had the saxophone in it, and he's our resident wind instrument metal guy. Okay, song number 3 was Hail Spirit Noir, the first ape on New Earth.
I went with Misery Biz on this one, but I gotta tell you, I almost switched Negative and Misery. So I almost put Misery for 1 and Negative for 3.
I actually did a game time decision. I'm going to say that was actually Negative Vibes that did that
I'm doing it then. All right, I'm flipping them because I was saying it too. Okay, so I'm going with Misery as the first song and Negative as the third.
All right, so we both have Negative Vibes as the third song. Song number 4, I really, really enjoyed it.
Song number
4 was like Cave In, something like that. What's up, Saber Wolves? Revenge by Fire. That was my favorite song of the night.
I picked Kellandros for that one.
I say Misery Biz did that one.
Okay.
Misery Biz is that one. And then the last song...
The Death one, I
was
picked Neil.
Solitude Aeternus, Scent of Death.
No, not right now. And I picked Neil for that one.
I picked Kellandros for that one. Okay, so Soraya has... Negative for...
So I have 1 is Negative, 2 Archero, 3... Oh wait, no, I flipped those. Shoot. No, I'm sorry. 1 was Misery, 2 Archero, 3 Negative Vibes, 4 Kellandros, 5 Neil.
Okay. My selections were 1 Neil, 2 Archero, 3 Negative Vibes, 4 Misery Biz, 5 for Kellandros. Okay, so Middle Earth and oh no! Sori got Kvaan by Kellandros right. Vin got none right.
Shoot, so should I not have flipped
scored 1 point?
Yeah, but I won.
Yeah, I know. Son of a bitch.
Okay, wait. So should I not have flipped Misery and Negative? If I wouldn't have flipped those, would I have gotten more right? I shouldn't have done that last minute switch up, probably.
First one was the Negative Vibes. You had said that.
I said that. Why did I let you influence me?
What do you mean? I didn't argue against that.
No. When you flipped yours, then it influenced me. And I said,
did we use Negative Vibes as the first one?
I had Negative as my first one.
Who was the first one that got crossed out there? You had Misery Biz for that one.
No,
all right.
No, I didn't. That doesn't say Misery Biz at all. I should have left that.
Misery had 3.
That's what I had. I should have left it.
And I did 1. So that you would have had 3 right.
Yeah, damn it.
You would have got a 3 out of 5.
Okay, so that means Neil did song 2 and Archero picked song 5? Okay, Archero picking song 5. I don't feel like that fits in with Archero's style.
Wait, Misery, Kvaan, who Solitude Aeternus was by Archero. Who did Revenge by Fire?
Not believe.
Texas was a hint. Son of a bitch. Damn it. Who did Revenge by Fire? That what? Revenge by Calendros. Son of a bitch. Calendros came up with my favorite song of the night. Right? Revenge by Fire. That was my favorite song. That was Calendros.
Yep, that's why. That's how
Son
I
of a
thought it
bitch.
was Kel, because you liked it so much. And that was like your style, and he usually ends up picking songs you really like.
Damn. All right. Well, the next time this happens, I will be fucking prepared. So I'll tell you that. I will never allow... Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have said that. My bad. All right. Forgive me. I will never allow myself to lose in such fashion again. Do you forgive me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Tell the people bye. We have to go now.
No.
All right. Well, there you go. Much love to all you beautiful people. Damn it. We got to do this again. And next time I will avenge myself. Vin out.
Sorry out.
I'm like legit disappointed.